Yo, we're live, we're back, and we are about to settle down to watch a watch along. France v Germany. It's going to be a good game. Looking forward to it, actually. I love the Euros. I love international football. I don't like anything that is a friendly, but I absolutely love the tournaments. So I'm looking forward to this one. Lee, France v Germany. Listen, two teams that should be doing quite well in the tournament, in my opinion. In terms of the Euros, though, I want to get your opinions on England in a minute, but just overall, what's your feelings on it? Who do you fancy? What are you expecting?
Well, I'm with you, Dan. I can't really see too much past France. It's very, very weird watching France nowadays without any Arsenal players. You know, do you know what I mean? I used to really enjoy watching France with back in the day, Vieira, Henry, Wiltord, Perez all playing so like with the French team, not so much that interested in it so much now. But I think they've got so many good players, particularly in forward areas, that I don't think they've really got a weak. Dare I say it? I think that the only weak spot they've got is probably the keeper, and he ain't a bad. Do you know what I mean? Like if I be really honest, he's not a bad keeper. But so that just shows you how strong they are. If that's their weakest player, how good they are. I was very, very impressed with Belgium. I've got Belgium in a sweepstakes, so I'm quite happy with that one, Dan, if I'll be honest. But England have got a good chance as well, because what I've seen is there's no real. I know you can't really gauge after a few games, but you know, going back into World Cups and European champions in the past, you've had Spain and France that I thought were always a little bit that little bit further ahead, like, you know. But on this championship, I see all bunched up. Anybody can win it. Maybe a little bit of luck, a little bit of quality. We've certainly got that with the forward players that we've got. You know, we played the other night and or the other afternoon, and I think we left out our best player in Jack Grealish. You know, so that just shows you how strong England are and could be in this competition.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. France, for me, favourites. I picked out Portugal in my sweepstake, and I'm all right with that because I fancy they've always got a chance with Cristiano Ronaldo in your side. So I think Portugal have always got a good chance. And listen, to be honest with you, Lee, I look at the Portugal side. I don't know if you saw it tonight. There's some talent in that. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, João Felix, Bernardo Silva. They've obviously got Cristiano Ronaldo.
Diaz at the back.
Ruben Diaz, you know, I mean, Cancelo, unfortunately, he's not well, so he's now not been out to go, but they've still got some decent defenders as well. In the midfield, you know, they've still got William Carvalho, who Arsenal have been trying to sign for the last, what seems like 25 years. So they got some good players, mate, is what I'm trying to get at. And I think that although France and, you know, Belgium and all that on paper are looking pretty strong, the England side is looking very strong. Now, I want to come on to it quick before we get into this game about England, because I get frustrated with Southgate because over the last few England games, he's not picked the team that I want. And I'm not trying to say I know the team better than him and all this kind of malarkey, but I don't know how Jack Grealish can light the place up in the last two friendlies and then not get to start the first game. So I get a little bit frustrated when I see that. However, I must say, I thought he got it spot on the other day. I thought we were class. I thought Mason Mount's running was sensational. Declan Rice formed a great partnership with Calvin Phillips, who for me was man of the match. And apart from a poor display from Harry Kane, which we all know he's going to improve because he's top class, should we be fairly confident with that England performance going into this tournament, do you think?
Yeah, well, listen, I think just like certain managers, other managers as well. I think, you know, if you look at Scotland, for instance, I felt that, you know, they made a couple of weird decisions they did, and that probably cost them the game, you know, not playing Adams up front instead of playing the fella from QPR. Was a ridiculous decision. I thought they were far too cautious. And I think that Gareth Southgate, you know, I think, you know, to play a right, when you've got two left backs in the squad, and then you play a right back at left back. You know, it's an unbelievable thing, really. Like, you know, someone like Ben Chilwell, for instance, you know, has just won the Champions League with Chelsea. I think it's been playing really, really well. And all of a sudden, yeah, if you get left out for Luke Shaw, I think you could swallow that a little bit and go, yeah, you know, I mean, even Saka could have played left back. You know, you think like, yeah, I'll suffer that. But when you're left out for a right back, and then you're not actually even in the squad. You know, I mean, if that was me, maybe I'm not.
But does it make you think though, Lee? Like,
I
oh,
would have
I'm not
left the
second
squad by now.
choice.
I've been on holiday.
Well, I was just going to say, if you look at that squad and you think, right, so I'm behind Kieran Trippier and Luke Shaw now. Ben Chilwell's thinking, or I don't know. Well, Luke Shaw might be thinking I'm behind, Trippier
Yeah.
and Ben Chilwell. How does that make you feel? Do you know what I mean? I think it's crazy. I'm totally with you. I've got to bring this couple of comments up. First of all, Jared, greetings, Lee and Dan from Port Elizabeth, South Africa. Lee, how do you think the Lions will do against South Africa?
Oh, that'd be a tough. Listen, South Africa, always a tough place to go. I think the Lions will do okay, but I think you guys over there, as you well know, will probably shade it. That's what I think they're like.
I think you're right. A bit of fun for the chat as well. Let us know where you are watching from. Whereabouts are you living? Always love to see where people are watching from.
Yeah.
Really interesting. This is a great one, Leah. Or is it a great one? Will you cheer Harry Kane on Friday? If he scores, will you cheer?
Listen, people can call me an idiot, call me what I want. Like, I find it very, very difficult to hate on a man, and I don't mean that as in a nasty way, just because of the allegiance between Arsenal and Spurs, and then for 1 month think that he's brilliant and be all nice, and then like next month go back to hating him again. Now whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, I don't do that, but that doesn't mean to say that I don't want England to win. And Harry Kane to play well, because if Harry Kane plays well, England have got a much better chance of winning it. But if Harry Kane scores, I don't feel like I can really cheer it. Say, for instance, like if it was Ian Wright scoring for England, and that's how I feel. I'll be honest, I've had lots of my Spurs mates going, well, have been saying exactly the same thing, saying that they never cheered Jack Wilshere when he scored. Do you remember when he scored those couple of goals in the Euros? They wouldn't cheer him, and Spurs fans have been calling me pathetic and all that. And then, like, my answer to that is, would you be cheering on Sol Campbell in 2002 for England? I don't think none of them would be, because of what he done to them, So I find it very, very funny with England. I'll be honest, and this is an important thing. Can talk about it with other teams as well. Cricket, rugby, anything like that, the Olympics, whatever you can. I'm really passionate about England. I really want England to do well.
Patriotic, mate, like me.
Very patriotic and all that. But when it comes to football, because of what I feel it's more tribal, or I'm more into it and whatever, I find it very difficult to cheer on players from other teams. And I'll be honest. So I hope England win. But if England win, fantastic. If they lose, I don't lose no sleep over it. I'm not into England football like I am Arsenal, and that's how I am. I'm sorry if it offends people, but that is how I am. But when
that's
it comes
to
other things, I am. But obviously, I want England to win. But at the end of it, if they don't win, I'm not going to lose no sleep over it. I've had many a sleepless nights when Arsenal lose. And I will. People are very, very passionate about the home nations and all that. I've never been. Again, I've always wanted Scotland, Ireland, and Wales to win. I'll be cheering on Wales on tomorrow night. I'll be cheering on. No, I won't be cheering on Scotland on Friday, but I was cheering on Scotland yesterday. But, I do want them to, the home nations to do well. I've always wanted us to do well. Where, let's be honest, Scotland, I've got a few Scottish mates I play football with in the vets teams and that they don't want England to win. But because they don't want England to win, that doesn't mean to say that I don't want Scotland to win. So that's how it is, so.
Yeah, no, fair one, mate. Fair one. We weren't going to talk too much about Arsenal today, but I'm going to bring this one up. We've been linked with Jack Grealish. We've been linked with Raheem Sterling. For me, potentially a little bit unrealistic, some might be saying. Today, we're being linked with James Maddison, a player I really like. He's not gone to the England squad, which I think is a bit harsh. I think that's going to be quite unrealistic in terms of money, because I think Leicester are going to want, I think between 60 and 80 million at least, I think, because he's English young, and I think he's top quality personally. What do you make of that, Lee? Is that all rubbish rumours, do you reckon?
Yeah, listen, we've had more. We've we've been linked to more players than a chain. You know what I mean? Like, it's unreal, isn't it? Like, you know, so
Yeah.
I'm. Do you know what? When it comes to Arsenal and transfers, I just don't even look at it really now. I really don't. You know, I'm more invested in whatever happens. You know, no one heard of Gabriel last season. All of a sudden, we signed him. You know, so what will be when it comes to the transfer market and see what happens. Really, like, you know, and you know, as I say, we have got links to more players than you care to believe, you know. So if they're all true, then Arsenal have a squad of 154 players next season. So it's not good.
Yeah.
But listen, but Madison's a very, very good player. Why we're being linked to him, I don't know. And why would he want to come to Arsenal at this moment in time when he's doing really well at Leicester? I don't know. But how much is Madison going to go for? If you're going to go for Madison, I'll prefer to go for Grealish, if I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, fair one, mate. So, prediction, mate, just about to kick off, France v Germany. What are you going for, Lee?
I am going to go for a very entertaining 2-1 win to France. I think it'd be a really good game, this. I just think that France will just nick it. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw, like, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw. I think France can be got at defensively, but I certainly look at Rudiger as well for Germany and think potentially there's a weak link there. So I'm going to agree with you, and I think France will nick it, but I am going to say that they're going to win this 3-2. I'm going to go for a cracker.
Whoa, right, so
be optimistic.
Mind you, this is in Germany, isn't it? If I'm led to believe. Yep. And after just seeing the screen and saying Bayern up there, I think that gives a little bit of a clue. So I think that I might change it to 2-2 now. Like, you know?
Oh, there we go. Well, Peter on par is agreeing with me, saying 3-2 France. We've got Germany for a surprise 1-0 win. So let's see what happens here. Harrison's probably right. Look at this, Lee. Probably be a 0-0.
Yeah, well, I think you said that earlier on, didn't you? Like, you know, so we'll have to wait and see. But it should be a good game. I wonder how Oliver Giroud's thinking, because he's been in and around the squad for a while. Obviously won the World Cup and all that, and Benzema's just come in and took his place, isn't he? Really, so now he's been left more down the pecking order. I think it's probably a better player, isn't he, than Giroud? But Giroud, you know, someone said to me, he ain't that far off of Thierry Henry's record now, you know.
No, he isn't at all. And I think that if he does keep picking him, Deschamps, then he's got a great chance. What do you make of Giroud then? Because I think he's been an underrated player for Arsenal, in my opinion. Yeah, he was frustrating at times, but he's a man mountain. Since he's left Arsenal, he's not just won the Champions League, he's won the Europa League and the World Cup. You look at his CV when he retires and you think, what a player. He's won everything.
Well, someone's just saying in the chat, 5 goals short of Henry's record. I have to say that I think that I think he was left a little bit hung out to dry with under Arsene Wenger a little bit, like, you know, was led to lead the line on his own. It was a stage at the season going back. I can't remember what year it was now, when he was the only striker we had at the club. So and you know, we had to play week in, week out, and really, see, I think he's a player that, you know, can come on and do a good job. And I honestly thought that he was actually better than what he was, you know, and not good, not a world-class striker, not going to win you the title and things like that. But I'll tell you what, if he'd have been in with the squad over the last 3 or 4 seasons, I think Arsenal would have done a lot better, because, you know, plan B, different option. You know, we haven't got no one that can head a ball at the club now, like, you know. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see how he goes in this one, like. But you know, listen, he's gone to all the clubs that he's been at. I think, was it Montpellier? He won a title there. He's won cups at Arsenal. He's won cups at, dare I say, at Chelsea as well. So I think he is a very, very underrated player. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I do. And I think I understand why he had to leave, because obviously we had to get Aubameyang, and there was a domino effect because Batshuayi was leaving Chelsea to go to Dortmund, so that Aubameyang come to Arsenal, leaving the door open for Giroud to go and replace him at Chelsea. So I understand why he went. But I actually think we needed a player like that. We had Aubameyang and Lacazette who were completely different. And he's the sub you bring on for 20 minutes to go that can win you the game, Giroud. And obviously he didn't want to be that sub. And he's ended up being a sub at Chelsea, to be honest. you know, it's worked out well for him, to be honest with you. Another player I'll mention, mate, in the France side is Mbappe, because I think this guy's going to be as good as Henry, if not better, potentially. The guy's about 21 or 22, and I don't even know if he's that yet. And his goal scoring record he is outstanding, mate. He is outstanding. What do you make of Mbappe, and how good could he be, Lee?
Big fan. Big fan. Love him as a player. I love his work rate as well. He's no, what I would say, like, he's not shy of a bit of work. I think that he'd do the job for the team. Got great attitude, great ability, quick feet, can score. I think he's got it all, hasn't he, really? If I'll be honest, I think he has got it all. So, and on his day, he's unplayable, I have to say. So, as good as Henry, yeah, I would say probably at this stage of his career, better than Henry when Henry was 20, 21. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see how well he plays today. Sort of playing on the left-hand side of the three today with Griezmann down. They've got a good front three, haven't they, France, when you think about it? Oh, they've got lots of goals here.
Benzema up top.
Yeah. They've and I think he's the one that if they can get him in the game, he can cause all sorts of problems, you know, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think so. I've got to say, though, mate, there's players that don't play for Arsenal that I love. And I always get it every kind of decade, really, in the Premier League. And I have to pick N'Golo Kante, mate. I just think this guy is unbelievable. You can't hate the geezer. He's always smiling. He's always got stuff to sort of smile about, and he's always in the good books of everyone. He's a true professional, and I just think he's made that position his own. I think he's better than Makelele. I've got to say it now. I think he's better than Makelele. A lot of people said Makelele was it was the Makelele role, wasn't it? I think he's played the Makelele role and some. I think he's been outstanding, and I think under Sarri at Chelsea, he started to do a little bit like what Emery was doing with Torreira, and Kante was pushing forward and trying to be more of a number 10, and it just weren't his position. He kind of went off the boil a bit, I thought, towards that era. And then since Tuchel's come in, Kante's been easily their best player. And I'm sorry, but I've not seen a Champions League final performance as good as that in a long time. I thought he was unbelievable, Kante. What do you make of him? Do you think he's the best defensive midfielder in the world? Because I
think he's up there with it, without a doubt. What I do like about him is just watching him now. He gets across the park so quickly, and he shuts people down, you know, and stops them playing. And then he just he gets the ball, gives it to somebody else, like, you know what I mean, like. And I think that's something that he does really, really well. Listen, he was outstanding for Leicester, wasn't he, when they won the league, and then, you know, he's gone to Chelsea, and he's done it there as well, you know, and born winner, really, like, you know what I mean. So winning games left, right, and centre. So listen, I know what you're going to say, you know. Whether it was true or not true, we was close to signing him, but we chose Granit Xhaka. Well, I think we chose the wrong one, if I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think that's obvious. I think that is very clear, to be honest with you. But looking at what Germany have got to offer, Kai Havertz, bit of a strange one, to be honest, for me, because I looked at the signing and I thought to myself, yeah, I can see why they've signed him. And I thought he started awful. I thought he looked terrible for the price as well. Maybe the weight on his shoulders, the transfer fee was too much. But then he won in the Champions League, Lee. So what do you make of Kai Havertz? Do you think that he's got enough in his locker to be special?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm going to be really honest with him, like, you know, and I mean this. He's coming to Chelsea, big move going to Germany from Germany. Then he got COVID, and I think that that took a lot out of him. And he was in a bit of bother at first with that. We all know that can take a lot out of you and everything there. But he recovered really, really. Took him a long time to recover, but once he recovered, you could just start seeing him doing bits towards the end for Chelsea. You know, like getting into chances. Do you remember he missed a fantastic chance against Arsenal, but he was getting.
I thought that was in.
Yeah, he was getting into those positions, and as you say, he's won the Champions League. Did he think that maybe he was going to come to Chelsea and win the Champions League in his first season? Probably not, but he did, and I think now, from his point of view, I think he's got a start in this tonight, and so I obviously feel he's a very, very good player. What I see of him I'd still think this very much that the Premier League can be how can I say it? A tough league to start off in, and I think it can, you either take it like duck to water, or you have to work at it. And I think that he's one that's going to have to work at it. Someone like Granit Xhaka, for instance, I think that, I watched him the other day play really well for Switzerland. I think if he went to Italy, I think he'd smash it over there because it's just that slightly bit slower, and he'd do really, really well. But the Premier League is not an easy place to come and play football. And I think I think that he'll take a little bit of time to settle in, which he has done. Don't forget also, he's come over this year where you're in lockdown, you're sort of like in a bubble. You can't pop out to the local sweet shop and whatever. So it must have been hard for all these. I think hard for any player that's coming over this season, and let alone with all the pressures that he had with him, with the big transfer fee as well. So as he paid them back, I think he has a little bit down, hasn't he, with that goal.
Well, I wouldn't mind someone winning me the Champions League. I could dream. I can dream. But I must admit, Lee, I was disappointed because I had a lot of hype for this lad, Havertz, and then obviously Timo Werner as well, someone on the bench tonight. I thought he was going to be class. At Leipzig, he was banging them in, and he ain't managed to provide too many goals for Chelsea. He has been there or thereabouts, but he's very wasteful. He misses a lot of chances, I think, Timo Werner. But I've got to talk about one lad that we all know very, very well, and one I really liked at Arsenal, and I was gutted that he left, and that's Serge Gnabry. Since he's gone to Bayern Munich, he's been class, mate. And there's not many we can say that have got away, I don't think. I think we can be quite lucky there as Arsenal fans. But I think that's one that could have done something pretty special at Arsenal. I'm a big fan, Lee.
Yeah, listen, I was a big fan. Listen, I don't think I don't think it's a blame game. I think at the end of it, you have to look at it and just say with Gnabry, he unfortunately got injured then. He was playing really, really well. Do you remember the game against Swansea up there at Swansea? He scored and he played really well. And I thought, wow, I think he was about 18 at the time. And I thought, wow, this is some player. Doing the right things at the right time, and I thought we've got a player on our hands. And then unfortunately got a bad knee injury, and with that knee injury, I don't know what happened there. Obviously his contract was running out. I think he went to West Brom so they could get him games. Wrong decision that was to take him to West Brom, and I just feel really. That we missed it, but it wasn't really no one's fault. In the end of it, I think everybody's got to take a part of the blame. We messed about with his contract. I think because I don't. Even when he was playing really well, did I think he was going to be as good as what he has? I'm not so sure. I thought he was going to be a really good player, but just like it always with Arsenal players, they always seem to get injured at the wrong time, and I just felt that the injury cost us him really, and that's a sad thing, but he's still got Arsenal in his heart, hasn't he? And it just didn't work out. And I think that sometimes along the line, Dan, you miss out on someone for whatever reason. Andy Cole was an Arsenal player for in his youth days, and for whatever reason, never quite happened at Arsenal, and went on to become a Man United legend. Gnabry,
you're spot on. That's a great example, actually. I couldn't even think of one. That is a spot-on example, that Andy Cole. Great one. Big up the Turkish. Lee, love you, mate. Wish you all the best with the channel. Dan, you're not too bad yourself, mate. Much appreciated.
Top man Turkish. Love him to death. He's one of the nicest people you could ever wish to meet. And I am a big Wales fan because I've visited Wales a few times, and I've visited Turkey a few times as well. So let's hope it's a draw tomorrow and both teams can still qualify there, just for my mate Turkish.
There we go. I must admit, big fan of Turkish. He is one of the good guys. We have England cricket fan channel here. Hi, Lee and Dan. How we doing? Now that has got to be one of your friends, isn't it, Lee? Cricket. Come on, mate. That's got to be one of your friends.
Listen, I will start following him, like, you know what I mean? Because yeah, England cricket fan channel. I love it, like, you know. So as I say, love me cricket. Big Yorkshire fan. You know, people are going to go, why Yorkshire? Well, my idol as a kid was Jeff Boycott, and he played for Yorkshire. And I followed Yorkshire because of Jeff Boycott. I've got a little story for you there, Dan, if you want to have a little story about.
I like a story, mate. I like a story. Go on.
About Jeff Boycott. We went up to Headingley, and going back a couple of years ago, before COVID, when you could all go to the games and everything like that. And just as we got there, we to the museum, it was closing, and the fella was just closing the door. And he said to me, I said, oh, so he said, oh, where'd you come from? So I said, London, just come up from London, you know, and blah, blah. So he said, oh, how come you spoke Yorkshire and all that? So I said, big Jeff Boycott fan. So he said, look, we're just closing up, but as you come to London, you can come in, like, you know. So I said, fantastic, like, you know. So I had a look around, complete no one in there, felt like royalty, like, you know, going around. And he said, yeah, Jeff Boycott's back. Now, you won't know this, right, but Jeff Boycott got his 100th playing for England at Headingley. I think in the 79, round about that time, like, you know, and his bat's in the museum. And he said to me, yeah, look, you can have a feel of it. And he got it out, the bat that he got his 100th with. And I had a couple of photos, and he said to me, look, whatever you do, don't put them on social media or anything like that, because if Jeff Boycott knows you've got his bat, he'll do his nut. You know what I mean? So I've had to keep those ones very, very quiet, like, you know. So yeah, so that was you know, a big thing for me, like Jeff Boycott's bat, and France nearly in there, and yeah, so because of me southern connections there, like, you know, I managed to get a chance of his bat. Otherwise, that would have never happened, Dan, like, you know. So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Limit saying, Lee and Dan, please have the scoreboard and timeless play on for the match. The reason we haven't done it is because it is the first show and we haven't got all our graphics up yet. But I promise you, we will sort that out, and we'll get stuff done. It's just that as we grow and as the channel grows, we'll start to do a lot more. So we will try it.
What was that question?
So, you know, when people do watch-alongs, they have their scoreboard and live timer and all that kind of going along.
Oh, we only just started, like, you know,
we only just started, so we ain't going to have that. But yeah, we'll have to try and get that sorted for next time.
Yeah. So, like, people can obviously look back what time incidents happen and all things like that. You know,
yeah, that's it, mate. Absolutely. Devon has said, what do we think of Maddison coming to Arsenal? I think we've touched on that one already. Would be a good signing, but perhaps a little bit unrealistic. Peter is saying, love how you keep the convo going on this live. Top content, no dead air. There we go. We try and keep, I don't like silence. And let's be honest.
No silence on here. Like, I can tell us a few stories on here and everything like that. And so we got like loads of things. We got some things coming up. We're going to do a few watch-alongs. A watch-along with a twist as well. We're not going to tell you what that twist is. We've got to do watch-alongs with a twist down, haven't we? Like, you know, so
yeah, I don't know if I'm looking forward to that or not, really, but you know. That was a good save. That's Kylian Mbappe at his best. That was absolutely superb save from Manuel Neuer. Kylian Mbappe there, he's cutting on his left-hand side, and that for me is why he's top draw. Because that, I mean, it's a great save by the way from Manuel Neuer. He's done well to palm that away, and that was a bullet of a shot curling into the corner, but. That's why I love Mbappe, Lee. He's so dangerous on that.
Well, he hasn't been in the game, has he? And then all of a sudden, bosh! And that's what good players do, isn't it? Like, you know, and you know, he is a match winner, isn't he? I think at the end of the day, he's probably going to be. I honestly think he'll be the key between these two sides. I've shown before we come on air. So they've had some fantastic battles in the past, Germany and France. You know, in the World Cups and European Championships. You know, and. And I mean, back in the 80s and all that.
Oh yeah,
fantastic games. You know what I mean? That, and I can tell you, then Germany were a one hell of a side, and France were, and they just went at it. They went at it big time. You know, and it was great games, great games.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of people have said, how can we donate to the channel? How can we provide cash? There is the super chats that I think you can use. I need to check with our tech guys to see if they're actually on, and see if that is working. But if you would like to donate to the channel, that is your best way to do it on a super chat. We'll put your questions up, we'll answer them, and go from there. If you would like to donate to the channel, then that is the best way to do it. Just on Mbappe, Lee, like, I don't know how true it was about, you talk about Kante nearly coming. There was a lot of talk about Arsene Wenger saying he nearly signed him. I mean, do you believe it? Do you believe that, or?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to say at this stage, you know what I mean, that I reckon there was talk. I reckon there was conversations. I do believe that. Whether those conversations were anything like near happening or sure, or I'm not so sure, if I'll be honest. But listen, when a team like PSG come in for you and you're up against them and him being French and all that, like, do you know what? I'm being honest with you. I think he done it. It's a very, very wise move. He's French, young, and he felt that, you know, he still wanted to stay in his country for a few more years, winning trophies and everything like that. So I think that I think he's well advised. Whoever he is advising him. You know, I think he'd say by about 23 or 24 he'll be somewhere else. But will he be now with the pandemic? But that's how I think it works out. But maybe in a couple of years' time, dare I say, he could be in the Premier League with Chelsea or Manchester City.
Fair play, and I must admit, it's in. It's in.
Oh, goal!
It's an own goal. It's an own goal. Mats Hummels has put it in. It's all worked down that left hand side again. He's feeling down about that. There's nothing he could do, to be fair. I think you're right, mate. There weren't nothing he could do. Do you know what? It was coming because I listen. I know we've been chatting and all that, but the last few minutes, France have looked on top for me, and it's all come from a throw in on the right hand side, and Pogba's done his usual holding the ball up. It's actually his pass as well, I think, isn't it? Yeah. That ball from Pogba is top draw quality, and the cross is coming. Do you know what, though? You say this, I think it's Hernandez who's put the ball across. If Hummels ain't put that in, then Mbappe's tapping that in.
You know, there's nothing he could do. He's 5 yards out. It's a good finish.
Yeah, he's done well there. Top body, be happy.
Nothing he could do whatsoever there, like, you know what I mean? So
Killian to be happy with that finish, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that, like, you know what I mean? So,
well, that's good because I wanted an early-ish goal because that means they've got to come out now, you know what I mean? You don't want it where it's like a real cagey sort of game for the first half, do you? Do you know what I mean? You want it to be, you want a couple of goals in the first half if you can. So let's hope Germany get another one now and make it entertaining because I think, you know, France have definitely been the side that, from what we've seen so far, that have been on top, haven't they?
Oh, without a doubt, you know what I mean? They've been the better side. They look dangerous. But listen, with them front three, if you can feed any one of them front three, you're going to look dangerous. And you've got, like, as you say, Kante, look at him, look terrier in there. And
he
then
is, mate.
Pogba with that little bit of goal and class. Whether you like Pogba or not, he has that little bit of quality in his game, in his locker. You know, he can be a little bit of a enigma at times, but ultimately, when he's on it, he is one hell of a player. You know, listen, he's got all the attributes to be a top player. He's powerful, strong. He's got skill. He's got. Oh yeah, everything to make it as a top player. You know, so. But listen, Germany have come. But I tell you what, they've responded quite well. Germany.
They have done. Yeah, they have done. That's a ball. That's a ball.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just headed it wide from the cross there.
I think you're a couple of seconds in front of me, Dan. Like, you know,
am I? Oh no, how's that working? I'm on ITV.
I'm over Essex into Hertfordshire, like, I don't know.
Oh, is that what it is, mate? Yeah, maybe I am a couple of seconds ahead of you. I'm on 22:08.
I'm on 20:29 now, so.
Oh yeah, I'm about 2 seconds ahead of you.
Oh well, yeah.
I'll delay it by 2 seconds, and then we'll be on the same thing, won't we?
Oh, well, that's pretty kind of you, like that. Right, so.
That's the way to do it, isn't it? That's the way to do it. But yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of this France side, and I think that I honestly believe they've probably got 3 players in each position that they could choose from. That's how good this France side is now. They've all come through at the same time, like, do you know what I mean?
Well, exactly. If they win this, they're doing what they've done before, winning the World Cup and the European Championships within and be the holders of both. And
Yeah.
and back in the day, that didn't hear too much of that, but like it seems like Spain have done it, France have done it. Other teams are now starting. I don't think Germany have done it, even though they've won every bloody thing. I think 96, of course, they won it, but it was 90 that they won the World Cup. So who won it in 94? Brazil won it in 94. So they. So not that many teams have done it, but in this sort of era,
Spain in it this era, yeah. This era of Spain were top class. They had Xavi, Iniesta, Fabregas, Torres, David Villa that time, didn't they? Absolute class. And France 98 and 2000, we had Zidane and Vieira and Petit and Pires and Henry. They were top draw, absolutely top draw.
Unbelievable,
That was. Look at this. That my mum's in. Hello, mum. Good evening. She said we're ahead of you. So somehow she's ahead of both of us. I don't know how these ITV's working here, but is that different times? What's happening here?
I think because we're on like going through the internet or whatever. I think we're always a little slightly behind, like
Is that what it is?
But thanks for that. Thanks for your contribution, Donna. Much appreciated.
There's a free kick here for Germany, just outside the
penalty
area.
In the chat, that's what's happening,
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, that's it. Tony Kroos and Thomas Muller, two experienced players there for Germany, both standing over it. So I don't know who you fancy here, Lee, but I reckon this is going to be Tony Kroos. But
I'm going to go Muller.
Yeah, it is going to be Muller. No, it's not. It is Kroos.
Oh, is it? No, it is Kroos.
It's been headed away by the French wall.
Yeah.
They just picked it up since that goal, though, Germany, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They've come back quite well, and they've looked. Sometimes when you're 0-0, you're playing under your shackles a little bit. Now they've thought, well, we're a goal down now. We've got to give it a go. Listen, Germany have got some decent players in their team, by the way, so they ain't gonna go down without fighting. So it'd be interesting to see what the next 10 minutes. But the other thing at this game now is key. I tell you what, France will, if they can defend well, they can hit you on the break as well, can't they? So it'll be interesting now,
Yeah. I've just been told that the super chats ain't on, but you have to qualify first of all to get super chats. That's what someone's just told me, Lee. So once we qualify for super chats, we'll be able to get them on. So people can stop donating if they wish.
Champions League or something. We've got to get top 4 in the podcast.
I think we have, mate. I think we have something like that. So if anyone does want to help us get there, then please do like and subscribe, and then we can actually try and grow the channel. But I will have a look at it, and we'll get him on for the next show, I'm sure. If people do want to come on and have a bit of a chat with us in half time, then give us sort of a DM on Twitter. We'll send you the link, and I'll pick 5 people to come on and have a quick chat with me and Lee at half time. So just our DMs are open on LeejudgesTV on Twitter. So just drop us a line on that message, and I'll send you the StreamYard link, and you can come on and have a bit of a chat with us for a couple of minutes and go from there.
Yeah, it don't matter what team you support. You know what I mean? It's we don't mind. We don't mind anybody comes on, whether it be Spurs, Chelsea, West Ham, whoever you want to be. We don't care. We're more than happy to have a chat. And
absolutely,
if you just leave a message or whatever, because we've only just started setting up on the Twitter and everything, so we've not followed everybody yet. So if you just let us know, and like people, like there's a couple of people saying they want to come in, so ones that have done while we're going through that, Dan, we'll start following them, and then they can DM us, so
well, I've put the DMs open because you can do that on Twitter, so anyone can follow, anyone can message us, so that's the good thing.
Okay. I did not know that, so there you go, so you learn something new.
There you go. So if anyone does fancy a chat, only be a couple of minutes because obviously we'll have a few people that want to come on. I'm going to answer this question now because it's just come up from me. For me, Dan, would you swap Granit Xhaka for Olivier Giroud? Yes, I would swap Granit Xhaka for Francis Jeffers, mate. So yes, I would definitely swap Granit Xhaka for Olivier Giroud. I cannot stand Granit Xhaka. I've had enough of him for 5 years. I've seen enough of him, and I will 100% swap Granit Xhaka for Olivier Giroud. Do you know what? Granit Xhaka is going to end up going to Roma, and like you said, Lee, he's probably going to have a good season. And let's be honest, he has had an all right season at Arsenal.
Yeah,
But, and there always is a but with Granit Xhaka, isn't there? He still kicked the ball against Chris Wood. He still got sent off against Burnley by grabbing someone's throat. And he's still been at fault for some of our goals this season. And he always is every year, Lee. It's never like a season of error-free from Granit Xhaka, is it? It's always 2 or 3 where you think, what's he done that for? You know?
Oh, listen, I think at the end of the day, I look at it and, everybody makes mistakes and things like that. It's just sometimes, there's probably players out there that make mistakes and they don't end up in goals. He's probably a little bit unlucky like that. But listen, I'm all for saying, look, Granit Xhaka leaving the club, and then we signed Basuma, and then it's an upgrade, isn't it? And that's how I think you've got to look at it. Arsenal got to do some serious business in the summer. I don't care what anybody says. 8th on this season, 8th the season before. So the players that have got in a minute have got to be improved. So it's as simple as that, and there's other teams out there that need improving as well. Everton, I felt. Everybody was going on about Ancelotti, how good he is and whatever. Ultimately he failed this season, Dan. As well. So you've also got to look at Tottenham, probably failed as well. There's going to be some improving to do from a lot of teams, and it depends how much Arsenal actually want it. And I'm not convinced that Arsenal were that bothered.
Well, I mean, I look at the situation with Granit Xhaka, and we need an upgrade. And we need an upgrade on him, which is going to give us some athleticism in midfield. So if we get Bissouma, or if we get Houssem Aouar, or if we get a Jack Grealish figure, then of course no one's going to miss Granit Xhaka. What I don't want is for Granit Xhaka to leave and we just put El Neni there. You know what I mean? We need to actually have a proper upgrade in that midfield, We really do. That's my situation on that. I'm going to bring this up, Lee, because a lot of people have said this to me, and I'll let you answer it. Has Lee left AFTV?
No, I haven't left AFTV, no. I'm doing things like now differently, but I'll still be a part of AFTV. I'm not like in full-time employment by AFTV. When people say, "Oh, have you left?" I think to leave you've got to be a part of it, really. You know what I mean? So I'm just a part timer. So I've got to, I'll still be doing things for AFTV, I'm sure, but again, guys, it depends on what happens here. If we get successful on here, then positions might change, you know what I mean? But at this moment in time, I don't think I would you ever leave at AFTV unless they kick me out or whatever or whatever. So I don't see myself leaving it, but obviously if things take off here, which we're hoping that they will, then we may have to look at some, look at that. But at this moment in time, the answer is no.
Fair play. I mean, I've been on AFTV a few times. You've been on it for years, and this isn't replacing yourself from AFTV. We'll still crack on and do it. Same as the same old Arsenal. We're still going to be doing that on Monday nights when that comes back.
Yeah, we're still doing that. Looking forward to that Monday nights. So I know Craig's busy at the moment with his new job and everything like that. But once he's got himself sorted out, I'm pretty sure he'll be a regular on the show. I'd like him to be anyway. And one of the reasons that we want to get Craig on is because to get his views, because he's not, like when he's hosting, he's a very, very good host, like your good self, but we don't actually get to hear what actually Craig thinks about games. So I'd like to get him on here and have a chat about Arsenal and life in Ireland and life how it is out in Ireland as well. So because I think over in Ireland it's a little bit tougher and a little bit more. They've got more stricter rules, I think, than we have over here. So it'd be interesting. These restrictions, by the way, have getting me down there, Dan. You know what I mean? I was really looking forward. Meant to be going away, not this weekend, next weekend. A lot of us go to the old caravan site, and we played like a bit of golf and other games and things like that. And with all the restrictions and all that, now it's all changed again, because obviously by the time we was going to go, the restrictions should have been lifted, but unfortunately they're not. So, can someone ask me a question? I've got to ask this question. We went to the box park on Friday. All the time, as soon as you stood up, they was coming up and saying, sit down, sit down. What is the difference between standing up and sitting down? What is the difference?
No one can explain that to me, mate. So if you sit there in a restaurant, right, you can sit there, me and you, like we are now. But the minute I get up and go to the loo, I've got to put my mask on. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it ain't great, is it? Like, you know what I mean? And but yeah, so is the air? Is it more toxic if you stand up than if you sit down? I don't really know, So it'd be very, very interesting why they do that, like. But it's so strict on it. No, sit down. You got to sit down. Rules are rules, and I get that these places are under rules. You know what I mean? But it's unbelievable, like, really.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I've got to bring this up because I spoke to you about this last night, actually, Lee. What do you guys think of the Swedish kid, Isaac? So that I was talking to you about, the centre forward from Real Sociedad. I'm a fan. I'm a massive fan. A little bit like a Marcus Rashford. I did a show with Clive Palmer from Arsenal Vision not too long ago on Same Old Arsenal, and he brought him up. And I started looking at him and I thought, do you know what? He's dead right, He is a centre forward that would light up the Premier League, in my opinion. 21 years old. And, couldn't see much of him last night at Sweden because I don't know about you, Lee, but I watched Spain-Sweden and Spain were just knocking on that door, but they just couldn't break him down. And I think that you weren't going to see the best out of Isaac because of that. But I'd take him. I like him a lot.
Yeah, do you know what? I watched the highlights last night because on your say-so, because you said about him, so I thought I'll have a little look at him. And do you know what? After watching him, limited chances because of the way Sweden set up. But, but every time they'd done something good, Sweden, it was down to him. And he caused them problems. His movement, his pace, his direct running caused Spain all sorts of problems. And the vision for the chance for...
Yes,
the number 9 that missed an open goal was incredible.
He missed it, didn't he?
So they could have actually gone and won that game. So
I'm going to cut you in there now. Mbappe is through on the left-hand side. It's just been blocked out for a corner. Sorry, mate. I thought he was going to have a chance.
Again, skipping past players like they're not there, and these are no rugby villains, like, So
here's a question for you, Lee. Here's a good question. So, Kylian Mbappe, right, or Erling Haaland? Who do you reckon is going to be the next best thing? Or Haaland? His name's Haaland.
I do like Haaland.
I like him a lot.
Mbappe for me is the man. I think he's got everything. I really do like. I'll tell you what, Manchester City are very, very fortunate that he wasn't about when they played them. Like, I thought that they was fantastic against Spain. Sorry, not Spain, against Barcelona. Yeah. In the Champions League, they destroyed Barcelona in Spain. He was part of it, He got hat-tricked, didn't he, if I remember rightly?
He was unbelievable, wasn't he?
Unbelievable. And then love and behold, he gets injured again, and don't play against City. But for me, Mbappe all day long.
I mean, I'm going to agree with you, but I don't want that to sound like I don't rate Haaland because I think he's class.
Oh no. Yeah, 100% agree. 100%.
I think if you want a killer in the box, I'd go for Haaland. But if you want the all-round player, I think Mbappe's got everything. I really do. So I would agree with you there and go for Mbappe.
I'll ask you a question, out of if you're Man City who can afford who they want and they're linked with Haaland or Harry Kane, who would you go for?
Haaland all day long. All day long. Haaland is going to be a potential to be one of the best in the world, like in terms of Messi and Ronaldo standard. He's got that potential, in my opinion, same as Mbappe has. So, although I don't think both of them will hit Ronaldo and Messi standard, I think they're going to get very close to it. I'm not sure Harry Kane is a Messi or a Ronaldo. Well, he's definitely not a Messi or Ronaldo. And I think Harry Kane at 28, who's injury prone, for me, it's Haaland all day long. All day long. Oh, that's a great chance for Gundogan. Oh, and he's missed it. He's scuffed it wide.
Pogba done enough there. Put him off.
Yeah, he did do enough. He's having a good game, Pogba, as is Kante, by the way, in the midfield there. If they're running the show for France. But yeah, I would go for Haaland if I was Man City. I think they'll have a great chance of getting him as well, to be honest.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think Harry Kane is the finished article now, really. That the thing is, if Man City are going to spend the same sort of money, they're actually spending it on Haaland. They're getting sort of 10 years out of him, where probably only going to get 4 or 5 out of Kane. But it'd be a very interesting one what to go. If Manchester City do sign either one of those players,
we might as well give up. Everyone might as well give up.
Yeah, I think that we'll be seeing them winning the Premier League for a couple of seasons, if I'll be honest. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. This has come from Griffo, bit off topic from the Euros. We don't mind that. At Arsenal, who was the one signing that you were not enthusiastic about but turned into a star? Most excited signing but didn't make the grade. I'll go first for that. I'll give you a bit of thinking time, Lee. The one player I wasn't excited about signing but turned into a real steady Eddie player for us was Nacho Monreal. I was not excited about that signing whatsoever. I thought I don't really see that he's going to be a great left back for us. And he comes to a couple of seasons. I thought, yep, no, weak link. And I thought he turned into a real bad time for Arsenal. I thought he turned into one of the leaders on the pitch and one of the most consistent performers week in, week out. And then we sold him and kept Kolasinac. I couldn't believe it. I thought out of the two left backs you want to keep Nacho because he's been around the place. He's playing better. He's a better fullback and he can play free at the back on the left-hand side. And we got rid of Kolasinac. So I'll go for that. And in terms of one that I thought was going to be a star that never really made it, the most exciting signing for me was, bless him, he's not with us anymore, Jose Antonio Reyes. When we signed him, everybody wanted him. Real Madrid, Barcelona, he was unbelievable in Spain. And he just got a little bit homesick, I think, and it didn't quite work out for him in the Premier League. He absolutely set it alight. I remember being at Ivory when he scored that goal against Chelsea. Well, there's 2 goals in the FA Cup that dumped them out in 2004. Thought he was outstanding. And then we went to 49 games unbeaten. For the last 6 of those games, he scored in every game. He was absolutely outstanding. And then it just went a bit wrong for him, Lee, didn't it? So that's what I'm going for.
Total shame that really, and obviously tragic that he's passed away at such a young age. But what a player he was.
Yes.
He came into the team and set it alight, didn't he? He was unreal. Do you remember he came? I think his first game was Chelsea in the Cup, in the FA Cup.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Unbelievable player. Quick, pacey. We'd sort of chased him for about a year, if I remember rightly, being linked with him. And those are the days when we got signings done. And he come in and was unbelievable for us. And such a tragedy what happened to him. And for whatever reason, he never settled in. And I get that. He just didn't. So which was hard to believe. Say we had Fabregas here, and we had some youngsters, Spanish boys in the squad, not quite coming through, but ultimately they're in again here. Messed it up. So that was that for me there. I've had a little thing about one signing that I wasn't really excited about, and you're not going to believe this.
Go on. And
then become a superstar for Arsenal. And probably one of my favourite ever players for Arsenal, and that was a certain Mr. Ian Wright.
Wow.
When he was signed, I never moaned about him signing for Arsenal, but I remember spending. I don't know how much it was. So someone in the chat might know if
it was a couple of million, though, wasn't it?
It was a couple of million, 2.2 million. And I thought, wow, what do we really need for that? We was winning we just won the title. We was scoring goals for fun at that stage of the campaign, and I just thought, well, do we really need him? But his first game was against Leicester in the Cup. He scored, and I thought, well, yeah, great. And then went to Southampton on the Saturday. He scored a hat-trick. I said, here, dude. You know what I mean? And he just become one of the most. He was a sensational player for Arsenal. He really was.
He's my favourite player. Absolutely. 3.6 million, apparently, Harrison says.
Oh, was it as much as that?
I thought it was less than that, but fair enough, Harrison. We'll go with you.
It was in 2, so I'm not going to argue with you because I don't really know. But it was, a massive thing. Someone just put in there about our show, and I think that's a good shout, by the way.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that is a good one. I was excited about Arshavin, but
yeah, I was excited about when he came in because I thought he was gonna really do. And do you know, I'm gonna say something now who I was excited about because I thought it might be the one that might get us the title, and that was Petr Cech. And it became a right. You know, I've never seen a goalkeeper drop in form as quickly as him. I really did. I mean, he came in his first
season was good, I thought. Yeah, but that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's a great question, that, by the way. So you know, Arshavin would have to be in there. You know, there's loads of Arsenal players that are exciting. I remember a player called Vladimir Petrovic. No, probably not that many people remember him. Coming to Arsenal, we chased after him for about a year back in 83, I think it was, 82, 83 season. And when he came, he was a fantastic player, by the way, but he just never settled in and didn't see too much of him after that, like, you know. So, that would probably be about it. You know, I'll tell you another one that was exciting but never disappointed was when Dennis Bergkamp signed for Arsenal. That was an exciting time to be an Arsenal fan.
Weren't it just, mate? Weren't it just? Yeah. Absolutely was. I think that's a great shout, actually. I mean, I look at it, to be fair, my mum's come up with one here that I think Nicolas Anelka, how underrated was he? I mean, underrated. When he left Nicolas Anelka, I thought to myself, you know, I was, what we doing? You know what I mean? This is not good because I'm looking at Ian Wright going and I'm crying my eyes out because I loved him. But we had Anelka and it was all right. And then when he went, obviously we then had Henri, but we didn't know at the time, did we? And I thought, he's the best 18-year-old I've seen. Like when he came to us, I thought, what have we bought here? Like this guy looks exceptional. And my mum always absolutely loved Nicolas Anelka. Absolutely loved him. Probably still is one of her favourite players. She absolutely loved him. Thought he was so good because he was always there, you know. He's always, if there was a rebound, Lee, he was always there. A bit like Wright, he was always there in the box, wasn't he, you know? And I think when he left Arsenal, a bit of him went downhill a bit, you know, and he just couldn't get settled anywhere else, could he, Nicolas Anelka?
Yeah, never the same. Listen, I'm telling you that now. It was at the time when he and Michael Owen sort of come on the scene at the same time. And I always said, you know, that not being biased, Anelka was a better player. I really did. I thought he was like, just had everything. And I can tell you this now, and I will state this now. If he'd have stayed at Arsenal, would he have been better than Henri? He was that good.
Yeah, he was that good.
He was sensational. He came in, I think, 18, 19. Didn't really know too much about him. This kid was, I think we spent about £500,000 on him. And didn't really hear too much of him. And exploded in the game against Man United in 1997. And for whatever reason, a little bit misunderstood. But what a player. And, you know, left Arsenal. Do you know where, say, like Mbappe's gone to PSG and still, that's what Ian Wright and Elka should have done. He should have stayed at Arsenal for at least another 2 or 3 seasons before making that move. And if he'd have done that and been advised properly at half time, if he'd have done that properly, he would have, I think, been right up there as one of the best players in the world. That's how good he was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, listen, I'm with you 100%. I think he was absolutely top drawer, and I remember him. You know, I just got to half time now. I think personally, when you look at the situation with Anelka, if he had his time again, I think he would have stayed at us. Because if you look at his career, I know he did great things with Chelsea. He's brilliant with Chelsea, weren't he? But if you look at that period when he went to kind of Real Madrid, didn't really make it. He had Liverpool stint, Man City stint, Fenerbahce stint. He ended up going to Bolton, and then he got his move to Chelsea. I think he would have preferred to stay at Arsenal. So that's my opinion on it. Half time, guys. If anyone wants to jump on for a bit of a chat for a couple of minutes, please feel free. Send a direct message to Twitter at LeejudgesTV or LeejudgesT, which is what it is. and we'll try and send you the link to get you on to the StreamYard to have a chat with us for a couple of minutes just before the second half kicks off. But that, as far as first half goes, Lee, I mean, it wasn't exactly the most entertaining, but it was certainly some good football on show. And, France really deserved to be that goal up, in my opinion, from what I saw. What about you?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad game. I was watching it like, one eye on the chat, one eye on this. I thought it wasn't a bad game, to be honest. I thought France looked good. Germany certainly in it. It'll be interesting now what they do in this second half. So this is the only thing about these Euros at the moment. Like 3 teams can go through from the group, really. So you're playing all these games. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you could actually lose your first game 1-0. It ain't such a disaster as it would have been in the last sort of tournament. So I think it's a silly system, really. But so Germany might say to themselves, you know what, we can afford to lose this one, But listen, Portugal have done well with their goal difference with the three goals late on against Hungary. So it's a difficult one what to do. I think if they could if Germany could come away with a draw on this, they'd be more than happy. But they've just got to set it up a little bit more. They've got to be a bit more adventurous, I think, in this second half, if I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree. But they've got quality, mate. They have got quality, and they've got quality on the bench as well. One player I wanted to bring up Germany-wise, a guy that plays for Arsenal that you're not a massive fan of, rumours he might leave, Bernd Leno. What do we think is going to happen with Bernd Leno?
Well, I'll say this now. If we get good enough money and he wants to leave, then fair enough. See you later. I've got no problem with that. It's getting in a good replacement for him after that, whether it be Sam Johnson at West Brom or whoever, you know what I mean? So, listen, I ain't got no beef if any of these players leave, and I'll be honest, but Leno's a decent goalkeeper. I still say this now, he's not world class. And, as I say, he's behind Neuer in Germany, and quite rightly so. So for me, yeah, I'm not that fussed whether he stays or he goes, really.
Well, in a minute, Sam, I was about to ask you guys, I think Leno will leave. I'm with you. I do not think personally it matters too much. I like Leno. I think Leno's a good goalkeeper. I don't think he's the issue at Arsenal. I think there's a lot of other issues. I don't think Leno is one of them. But he's not a goalkeeper that I think we cannot replace. He's too good. It'd be a shame if he left. I'm still a bit upset that Emi Martinez left, but of course, that's history. We can't keep going on about it. Onana has been linked, the Ajax goalkeeper. He actually can't play till November because of his doping ban thing that he's got. And he goes away to the African Cup of Nations. So I don't know if that's a good signing or not, really. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's a good signing or not, really. We are going to bring someone into the mix, so someone's waiting in the wings. We have Peter. Peter is joining us. Peter, welcome. How you doing, mate?
How's it going, gents? Thanks for having me on.
Peter, right, mate?
How you doing, Lee? You well?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much. You good?
Yeah, all good. Thank you. All good. Thank you. Glad to be on. Thank you for having me.
No problem. What do you reckon of the game so far?
Coming on.
Yeah, bit of a tight game, isn't it? Really. But I think France in the end probably will edge it. I did think 3-2, like Dan mentioned earlier, but
don't you mind there, then, I?
No, not yet. Maybe it might actually go to your scoreline, to be fair. But it's been a decent game. I think the Euros so far has actually been pretty good. In fairness.
Yeah, I think it has been as well. It's been quite entertaining, isn't it? To be fair, I'll make you right. I think one sort of dull game yesterday, but it weren't dull. Do you know what? The Spain game yesterday, I know it finished 0-0. I didn't think it was that dull. I thought it was like, Sweden looked like they was in it, and it could have. They could have actually nicked a couple of goals, to be honest, couldn't they?
Yeah, I don't think there's been a dull game. In fairness, I think they've all been a bit entertaining here and there, and it's good to have crowds in the stadium though as well. I mean, even the Hungary
that helps massively helps. 100% agree with that.
It absolutely changed, didn't it? So
yeah, what the game earlier on, it looked absolutely packed. That game.
Yeah, they're allowed to have full capacity. So in Bucharest, you can have Budapest, you can have full capacity there. So it'll be interesting to see what the cases are after that. I wonder if
that'd be, but you know, to get a full, that's great to see a full capacity in the crowd, and it didn't do them no good, but it was great to see it. You know?
Nonetheless, I mean, even afterwards, I think the players went over to them, and I think they done the national anthem again. It was quite like partisan crowd. It was really, really good. It was fun.
Yeah, and that's what you need, like, you know what I mean? So
I must admit, I do feel a bit sorry for Hungary though, don't you? They've got Portugal, France, and Germany in that group.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Like, you know? So Peter, tell us a little bit about yourself. Come on, let's hear some.
Yeah, so a DJ. I also do a bit of a F1 podcast as well, hence the name. Big Arsenal fan. In fact, actually work for the club. So yeah, it's great fun to be a part of it as well.
Brilliant. Big F1 fan. Why an F1 fan? What's the big attraction? Come on, try and sell it to me.
First of all, it's my dad's fault since like 98, 99. Mick Hakkinen, I got involved in that. But no, you know what? Every it's like football. Everybody has their dominant years, and then it kind of rotates over time. People will say Ferrari was always dominant, then it was McLaren, now it's Mercedes. Once upon a time, it was Red Bull. So it does change a bit. And this season has actually been very, very entertaining. Lewis Hamilton's actually got a challenger. So the title race is on. Him and Max Verstappen, the title race is big. It's on. And I'm looking forward to it. I love Formula One regardless. And so, you know, I'll watch it anyway. It doesn't matter who's winning the championship. So, Formula One, man. Give it a chance. Give it a shot.
Are you one of these ones that gets up early for it or stays up late for it? Or
the full 9.
Live? You have to watch it live?
Yeah, of course I do. In order for me to do some content afterwards, and yeah, I absolutely do. Just like any, you know, say American Arsenal fans, they watch the game, and even on the same old Arsenal, they jump on and give us content there as well. So yeah, I also do a football podcast at Top 4 podcast. So we just talk all things top 4. I'm the Arsenal end, and then we've got Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United. We've got all sorts in there as well.
Hold on a minute. All top 4, and Arsenal get a mention in that, do they?
Done well, haven't we? Done well there.
We began in 2014 when things were decent. When top 4 was boring. That's when we began it. So now we would bite your hand off for it. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, right? We've got a bit of a challenge here. So I reckon me and Peter are going to the whole of this channel is now going to turn Lee Judges into a Formula One fan. We'll do a Formula One show, right? We've got me and Peter to do a Formula One show on the Lee Judges TV channel. Lee Judges can be sitting there learning some Formula One stuff.
Listen, I'm willing to learn, you know what I mean? And I think it's great that you know, like it's everybody has their thing. I stay up late and into the middle of the night watching American football, and people turn around and go, "I'm nuts," you know what I mean? Like, I absolutely love. I love the American football as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that people that do like the American football, what teams you support? So, Peter, are you into American football?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Brilliant. Like, you know what I mean? So, what's your team?
It's Washington football team now. I can't say the other name, but yeah, Washington.
You're my man. Like, you know what I
mean?
You
Washington as well.
Like, you know, so
there we go.
I'm a big Washington fan since the 80s, and do you know what? But they're like the Arsenal, aren't they? Washington.
Yeah.
Always letting you down. You know what I mean? And they playing reddish sort of colours as well. So
I blame my family for that one. They live out in Maryland, so. They all support them, so I jumped on the wagon straight away. But you know, you seem like an open-minded person. You like your golf, you like your cricket. Formula One, I guarantee you, Dan, we're going to have Lee into Formula One by the end of the season. Especially,
I reckon you're right.
Especially
I
this
reckon
year.
You're right, you know. And do you know what would be a good little introduction, Lee, is for you to go on Netflix and watch Drive to Survive. You'll love that. There's only about 25-minute Drive to Survive. It's called Formula One, right? It's 25-minute episodes. There's only 6 in each one. I think there is, or might be 8. But I promise you, you'll enjoy it. It gives you a backside, behind the scenes Formula One. All the teams, all the drivers talking on camera. It is, for those people who don't watch Formula One, the amount of people that said, I hate Formula One, but that is a quality series, that Netflix. It's because it is. It really is. It's, you know, I weren't massively into basketball, but I watched Last Dance, and I thought it was the best thing I've seen on Netflix the whole of this lockdown. I thought it was by far the best thing.
That was absolutely fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Playoffs this year as well.
I'm not a massive basketball fan, if I'll be honest. You know what I mean?
This is the year to watch it, Lee. This is the year because the playoffs are unbelievable. LA Lakers.
Yeah. A lot of people are in there and they're going, "Oh, you've got to get into the playoff." Like, and I think Washington, is it Washington Wizards are in the playoffs, or they were? I don't know if they still are.
Yeah, they just got beat, unfortunately.
Oh, did they? Like, you know what I mean? So, I'll choose a different NBA team then. Like,
no, because I'm Wizards as well. So stick around with us.
Stick with the Wizards, like, you know. So, but they've never really pulled up any trees in the NBA, have they? What I can make out of it. So I'll stick with them. I'll stick with them then. And yeah. So
the thing with the American sports is that
brilliant.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the thing with the American sports, because of there's no relegation, again, it rotates as well. There's going to be a time where, you know, the Lakers didn't win it for years before now. You know, so again, you know, over time, the Wizards will win a championship at some point. We just got to be
fantastic. Well, I hope the Washington football team will get their act together and start. You know, got to the playoffs last year, but blew out straight away. But you know, we actually got through on a losing season, which don't happen very often, like, you know. So
no, exactly, yeah, exactly. And you know, who would have thought of the Kansas City Chiefs? Nobody heard of them.
No.
And then look at them now.
Yeah, they come through and do that, like, you know what I mean. So
you got to do good recruitment, just like the Arsenal. You got to get good recruitment, and you never know.
You never know.
I must admit, I look at American football and I think, why does it take 4 hours? Like, does it need to take that long? And why they keep stopping all the bloody breaks all the time? I can't. I'm a bit negative about some of these American sports, I'm afraid, Peter. But there we go. I'm a massive football fan. I like all sport, to be honest with you. I'm all right with cricket. I watch the Ashes. I watch 2020. I can't sit there and watch Test cricket goes on forever. I think, what is happening here? Let's get some action. Every time you turn it on, they're standing still. Come on, get on with it, man. You know, I'm a bit like that. That's why I love the highlights of the cricket. You know, I would rather watch the highlights. But and golf as well. I love playing golf. I'm rubbish at it, but I love playing it. But I can't sit there and watch it forever, mate. I think it goes up in the air, the ball, and everyone can see it apart from me.
Well, at least you got it up in the air, like, you know. That's a good thing.
Well, that's it, mate. That's it,
that's
mate.
The same as me with golf. Golf, I struggle to watch. Cricket, I've been to Oval and I've watched the one day, and that's brilliant because it's done in one day. So that's been all right. But yeah, snooker, I love. Tennis, I love it. Arsenal is my number one, and then one's number two.
I'll tell you what, Lords is like, it's a fantastic place to go and see, to go and watch cricket. I've been to the Oval, which is fantastic. Headingley's fantastic. Obviously, I'm going to say that. I'll tell you where else is, you know, like Birmingham's really good.
My mum says Rounders is better than cricket.
Rounders is better than cricket. I'm right off on it, you know what I mean? It's a lot of Rounders at school, though. Did you ever play Rounders at school?
100%. Loved it.
It's brilliant, like, you know. So getting back to real sport, Edge was very, very good. But and I'll tell you what else is good. Durham. Watch the cricket at Durham. You know, very, very good, like, you know. So
okay, cool. I'll make my trip down to Lords. It's not too far, so
yeah, there's something. Do you know, like when you go to Wembley, there's something. Even like back in the day when it was the Twin Towers, there was something about it. But going there to Wembley, I know it's not the same with the Arch. There's still something spectacular about going to Wembley. Like, it's just something, you know, about it. Oh, it's Wembley or whatever. Like, you know, even though it's the same with Lords. When you go Lords, it is just a different atmosphere at Lords to any other place, and you can't put your finger on it why it's different. It's just that little bit posher, I suppose. I don't know, you know. It is a lovely place to go and visit. So if you've not been to Lords, make sure put it on your bucket list, guys, because it is.
That's on the bucket list. For me, it's like the Arsenal, isn't it? Because going to the Emirates, for me, I don't care what kind of season we're having. Getting up there, walking through, you know, the North Bank and everything else, it's a different buzz. But then, of course, you can compare it to Highbury, isn't it? I went to Highbury about 2 or 3 times, and I went to the old Wembley about 2 or 3 times. And I know that was special. That was something you can't replicate that. But again, when you go to the new Wembley or you go to the Emirates, there's still that something, because you're a fan, isn't it? It's the kid inside you that's still
100%. And you know, it's like if I'm on a train and I'm going past the Emirates, you know, like the line that I go on goes past it. If I'm like, I always make sure I sit on the right hand side, so that once like when I know I can look out and see it. You know what I mean? I know it's a silly thing.
Yeah. No, I'm the same.
Just to see it, you know what I mean? Like even though I've been in there thousands of times, hundreds of times, whatever, I still have to make sure I'm on the right hand side that I can see it. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm ever travelling around the country or whatever, I love it when you go past the ground. I absolutely get a buzz with it. Like, you know, if you go like up north, you go past it, you know, and I know I'm getting near Coventry, I have to look over to the left hand side to see the Rico's Arena when it's coming up. And then, you know, maybe I might be asleep and I miss it, and I feel, I missed it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, or you know, you go past Villa Park, or you know, if you go like Stoke, you go past Stoke's ground, or Leeds, if you're going up that way there, you go past it. I always got a little buzz looking at grounds and things like that you go past and all that. Like,
I'm with you. No, I'm the exact same. I'm the exact same. I always look for the stadium to see.
Yeah, you know they're coming up, and you look for them, don't you? Like, and it's a fantastic sight seeing in a football stadium. You know, I love it. Absolutely love it.
The Nottingham one was funny when you go to like Forest and then you see Notts County.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Mbappe's career. Oh, Mbappe. Oh.
All right, do you know
what? Still going.
1 minute and a half into the game. I
didn't realise that. Yeah, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, well, like, it's unbelievable. If you go to Notts Forest, Notts County, you can park in their ground. They charge you to park in their ground, and you have a beer at Notts County, and then go across. Like, you know what I mean? It's freaky, isn't it? Freaky.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Peter, I tell you what. Before we let you go, I can't let you go without talking about the Arsenal. Like, where do you stand with Stan Kroenke? Where do you stand with Mikel Arteta? Where do you stand with Arsenal's future?
You know what? I understand everybody's sort of uproar with the owner, and as much as he's not an Abramovich, was what we would love if he poured some money in. I do think at the same time we've got to take some responsibility by the way we spent our money, because it's not to say we've not spent money at all. I mean, you had the conversation earlier about the Xhaka versus Kante, for example. Yeah. The amount of money that we would spend when you actually look at it on paper. You know, I won't say the owner's backed us, but he's not taking money away from us to spend. Does that make sense? And so because he's allowed the club to sort of run it on its own, it's actually allowed us to still make transfers. The real issue, the real question at hand is who is recruiting the players? Who is scouting that one and said, yeah, that's the one that we can buy 35 million. I remember Lee done an interview at Newcastle away, and I think he was fed up with Mustafi. I think you just sort of drew the line with him, and you said who exactly saw that bloke and thought that's the one for us to be as our centre half. And I know before we sign a player, we usually get excited. Like even now, there's a lot of talk about different players. We're all excited to have them come in. Xhaka was one of those. Mustafi was one of those. There was a few players that we looked at before they stepped foot in the Arsenal, and we were sort of like, all right, now we can go. We can move forward. Thomas Partey has not had the best season. Let's call it what it is. But you know, we're not necessarily screaming and shouting about him. And I feel like the players like your Xhakas and so on, they do get scapegoated. And I understand why. You know, I know the reputation sort of goes before them. But at the same time, I do think, you know, the structure, you know, I feel sorry for Mikel in a sense that how can we have a novice as a manager of the Arsenal, not of Cheltenham, not of, you know, Colchester or wherever, but of the Arsenal? That shouldn't be right. And Edu is a novice as a technical director. And then, you know, you could say, we could go further with Vinay, CEO, novice, you know. So if everybody's a novice, then what did you expect? This is, you know, some wins, some lose. And what was it, 13-13, I think, in terms of wins and defeats. So it kind of, you know, on paper, this is exactly where we should be. But I don't think we're that far. Because what I found crazy is, how are we only 2 wins away from top 4? Nobody can explain that. How on earth, the season we've had, are we too? So for me, we're not too far. I don't think we're as far as it looks. We're not as bad as we think we are. We're not as good as we think we are. And I think there needs to be that little balance in between. The money has been there to spend. We've got to learn how to recruit and scout better and get better players in. That's my.
I mean, that's absolutely spot on. I couldn't disagree with anything you've said, Peter, to be honest with you. Yeah. Before we let you go, mate, who's your tip for the Euros then? Who are you going for to win the whole thing?
I think you can't look past France. I think France are there. The only caveat I think is Ronaldo is a different animal in terms of mentality, the way he wins. Remember when Portugal won the Euros, France were the favourites then, and it was in France's backyard, yet Portugal still won it. And then, so I'm not closing my eye on Portugal just yet. And then through the back door, it could be Italy, because they look really well oiled. Mancini's got that team for the last 2 or 3 years, gone unbeaten, and he's had the plan from day one. He's known what he's wanted to do right up to this tournament. So those are my hot 3, but number 1, of course, would be France. England, again, as I mentioned, if they get into the semis, look, if you're at home, the crowd will be so on behind England that could, the 12th man could literally throw the ball in the net. So, I wouldn't knock England out as long as they get through to the semi-final. But yeah, it depends on the draw.
Could actually play one of these in the group.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the thing. But go with no fear. I just hope Southgate just lets the guns all out and just let them go. Because I think if you restrict them a little bit, the nerves kick in. And then if you play somebody of decent quality, the defenders we've got, let's be honest, are not, you're not looking at them with envy. So yeah, I do worry about our defense, but go for it and let's see what happens. Nobody will knock him for trying.
I can't disagree with anything you said there in terms of England. That's my worry with Southgate. Will be a little bit negative. We've got great attacking players, so I just want to see him go for it. And as we speak, France are through. Oh, and he's at the post. Can you believe it? Rabiot. Unbelievable. That was an unbelievable bit of play. This ball through here. Is that Mbappe who's passed that through? Isn't it? That is absolute top draw.
It was offside anyway.
Yeah, he was, but he's just hit the post. That was a good move. Peter, before we let you go, how can people follow you on social media, mate?
Yeah, on Twitter, I'm at DJ Solenki, one of the DJs at the Emirates. So yeah, come check me out there. I've got the link as well to my F1 channel on there as well. So yeah, have a butchers, and talking all things Arsenal, Formula One, and anything else in between.
Brilliant.
Well, mate, it's been a pleasure having you on.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for being our first ever guest, Peter.
My pleasure. Honestly, my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
You take care, man. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Hey, what a very good speaker. What a very good speaker.
Really, really articulate, really good lad, and absolute pleasure to have on. And he's a Formula. It's these Formula One fans, Lee. You see that you got to get them on, mate. They're brilliant.
Yeah, I seem like they know what they're talking about. Whether it be
there you go, see
American football, basketball, Formula One, he knows his stuff, doesn't he? Like, you know what I mean? So
a very sporty lad, very sporty lad.
We like that.
Yeah, no, it's good to get some different people on in it and have a laugh and have a chat about sport, especially when the game's on. That's a good thing about this Euros, isn't it? And we's watch-alongs, so you can just sit and have a chat about all things. Well, life really. It's not even just sport, is it? We've had a bit of everything tonight. So
yeah, we've done everything. We've covered. I think we covered most sports. If someone else wants us to cover a sport, they can do. Going back to someone said about the rugby, I've only been to one international rugby game at Twickenham, England versus Italy. Sensational day. One of the best days out you can ever have.
Yeah.
If you've been it, like, I can't.
Oh, Gnabry. Sorry, Lee. Gnabry's just had a hell of a chance there. He's got it over.
Could he have done better with that, Dan? I think he could have done.
I think so. He's got to be that down. Has he hit that down in the ground there? Is he? Yeah, he's hit that down. It's unlucky, there, because he had to hit that down into the ground because he was leaning back. So he's managed to try and keep it down that way, but it's just gone over. I'd say it's more unlucky than anything.
Chance.
Yeah, it's a chance, mate. It's a chance.
Go down
if they score, I want it to be Gnabry because I like him. I know that we should be like, some fans are a bit frustrated that I don't want him to do well because he's left the Arsenal. But I'm the opposite. I like that.
I want him to do well. Why wouldn't you want to do well?
Yeah, absolutely. Big Steve is in the house. Twickenham is fantastic. It was at the opening ceremony for the World Cup. Absolutely brilliant.
Again, like Big Steve will back me up then. Like, you know what I mean? What a place Twickenham is. Again, like, when I went there, I was in awe of the place. It's sensational. Like, and the greatest thing about that, Dan, is being a football player, should I say, football fan, is that when you're at rugby, you can walk in with your beers.
With your beers, yeah, mate, absolutely.
With your beers, and just watch the rugby. It's fantastic, like, you know what I mean?
It's
So,
funny because my mate, I think one of the lads went to the Emirates and he came in with a beer to because he was watching Coldplay or something like that, you know. And he said it's the only time he's been allowed to go to the Emirates to watch Arsenal. He ain't allowed to do that. You go to the Emirates to watch Coldplay, you'd have about 6 beers.
yeah,
You know?
like, you know what I mean? So,
Unbelievable. It's
yeah.
crazy. No, I'm a fan of Twickenham. I'll tell you what, I do enjoy going, and I've been there a few times. The old Army v Navy rugby, that is good at Twickenham. That is a great.
Yeah. That's something different, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? So
it's just it's good for a social, you know.
Yeah, like that was the fit. We went in about, I think it was March time we went, and they were like, you know, oh, let's go and go to the Guinness bar. I don't drink Guinness, but like, you know, in the tent, it was so cold then. You know what I mean? That was the only thing about the rugby. It was so cold. So it'd be interesting, like, you know. So who will win the US Open? Oh, that's a good one, like, you know. Now,
I've just seen that, Jad. That's good. Go on.
My favourite golfer is Sergio. Is my favourite golfer. Oh,
Another chance, but go on.
But I don't think he's going to win it. Like, you know what I mean? I got a little feel, you know, Kepter. I think I thought what Mickelson done the other day for the PGA was unbelievable. The other month, sensational. But you know, Kepter was there and thereabouts. So for me, I'd love to see Sergio Garcia win it. But for me, I'm going to go Kepter.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think like
I'd love to get involved in it. I'd love to get involved in this convo, but I literally don't do golf, so I can't even tell you who's playing well, who's no good at it. So you can teach me a bit about who's doing well, because I honestly have no understanding of who's doing well at golf, who's good, who's no good. You know what I mean? I hear names like McIlroy and obviously Tiger Woods of old and stuff like that, but I've never actually sat there and thought, right, who's going to win this? Who's looking good at the moment? So if you think that, I'll go with you, Sergio and Kepter. I'll go with them too.
So how has business Lee survived the last? Yeah, just that is all it is. It's been at the moment. It's just about surviving. You know, the dry cleaning world is smashed to bits at the moment because everything that's from like weddings, holidays, people not going to work. You know, like the dry cleaning world is not a great place at the moment to be in. It's just about surviving, like, you know.
Well, it's a bit like that at the moment, and let's be honest. I mean, have we got some people agreeing with you there? Big Steve saying that McIlroy's been naff for a long while now.
Yeah, he's
a good chat.
Yeah,
I like him. I like, you know, he's obviously talented, but I quite like him as well. Oh, that's a shot. Is that a block on the line? Blimey, what's happened there now?
What is happening there? I don't know what.
Oh no, someone's down though. So what's happened is Germany have crossed this in. Loris is in no man's land. Oh, it's a clash of heads. So he's obviously, the refs called it, and then it's actually cleared. It's actually hit him on the line down.
Oh,
but look at Loris here. He's just watching. He's going nowhere near that.
I said he's the weak link of the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's knocked him out. That is. That's another clash of heads. There's been a few clashes of heads lately.
There has been. Yeah.
You can blame Loris for that.
I'll tell you what though, I did watch that game the other day, Denmark, and I've never been so shocked and worried watching a game of football when Ericsson went down like that.
Terrible, absolutely.
That was so nasty, wasn't it? You know, it was not pleasant to watch that at all, in my opinion. Scary times, to be honest. But I'm glad he's all right and all that, you know. Glad he's all right.
I'll tell you what, I have to say, a remarkable recovery. Remarkable.
Wouldn't it just? Yeah, wouldn't it just?
I was actually going up on the train to do some filming and that, and so I didn't see it, and they obviously weren't showing it again, like, you know what I mean. So I've not seen the incident, but the way they were talking and everything there, it was like that he had died. You know what I mean? Like, I think I was watching the BBC and they cut out from it, and then the next thing, you know, on Twitter, you could see him sitting up and all that. It was absolutely brilliant. You know what I mean?
It was miraculous, wasn't it? Really, but with Mwamba, you know, that one, he was obviously miraculous, but it weren't as quick, was it? It was in, you know what I mean? We didn't know what was happening for a longer period of time with Mwamba. We was really worried about him for a longer period of time, and I think with Ericsson, an unbelievable recovery. But
and you know, I know that we hate on Spurs players and all that, like, you know what I mean, but. You know, like straight away, you just wanted him to survive, didn't you? You know what I mean? And you don't care whether he played for Spurs or whatever. It's immaterial, isn't it? It's just about him surviving. I've got to say that the Denmark players, I think, have come out of this, you know, fantastically well. What they've done, I've got so much admiration for them. The captain, the way he was with the girlfriend, you know, sensational. And now they sort of say, you know. I don't say that was made to play the game, but I felt that, you know, maybe a little bit forced into doing it. You know, you have to admire them for even doing that. But ultimately, watching the game, and I know Finland went on to win it. I don't know how, but they did. But you wanted Denmark to get something out of that game because of what had happened and the way that those players responded and everything, like, you know. But it just wasn't to be, was it? Like, you know, even the penalty they missed as well, like, you know. So
no, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you, and you know what I mean. Like, I talked about N'Golo Kante earlier, a player I love. Another one who's got to be up there is Kasper Schmeichel. You know, I just think the man he's so underrated as a goalkeeper.
Leader.
Yeah, so underrated as a goalkeeper, and what he did there was outstanding. I thought, you know, he got up to make sure his missus was all right, and he stood by the team. And he has been a leader. He has been a leader. Goalkeeper that would, you know, get into most top 4 sides. I would say, a very, very good goalkeeper.
Without that, and I said that, you know what I mean. He was the goalkeeper. I sort of said Arsenal probably should have signed. You know what I mean, and because, you know, proper leader, proper man, isn't he? Like, do you know what I mean? Even though I've got a lot of admiration for him, like, you know, and all those Denmark players, to be honest, you know what I mean. I thought have been sensational because not only of what had happened there, like, you know, probably, you know, Christian Eriksen is their best player, like, you know, so and probably, like, if he would have been on the pitch, he would have took the penalty. I know that, you know, so it's a difficult one, like, you know what I mean. The question is obviously, will he ever play again? At this moment in time, you know, I think that's irrelevant. I think that
I agree.
You know, he survived, didn't he? Like, you know what I mean, and that's the greatest thing. Like, so
well, I don't know how old he is, Christian Eriksen. I think is he 28, 29? You know, he's had a good career at Ajax and Spurs, and he's been a talented player. Some footballers would look at that and say, you know, that's a very young age. Yes, it is. But your health comes first, doesn't it? You know, and that's what happened with Fabrice Mwamba. That's what's happened with Ryan Mason. You know, there's been players that have had to retire. You know, everyone in the chat saying he's 29. You know, that's still a good career, Lee, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. Like, listen, at the end of the day, you know, he's had a great career, really. You know, just won the league into Milan. So I think if he, you know, we still don't really know what's happened and all that. But if it was a heart attack, I can't really see him being allowed to play again. But ultimately, you know, I suppose if they turn around and say, you know, they can't guarantee if he can have another one or they can't, I suppose it comes down to him. But you know, I think that when he makes that decision, maybe he'll have to look at what the pictures and everything like that. That may determine whether he decides to play again, like, you know. So because I think you've got sometimes along the line, Dan, you know, football's fantastic, it's great and all that, but family's got to come first, surely.
Oh, 100%. And, you know, he you know, Nimit's saying it here, he's got a family to take care of. Better for him to retire and move to coaching. No, it might happen. Yeah,
it might happen. Going to coaching or saying, that's a great point. Like, you know, Nimit, great point.
It is a great point. Germany have picked it up a bit here. I'm not going to lie.
What? Just thinking that Germany are now in the ascendancy. Germany are on top. I don't know whether that's because France are letting them push on them to perhaps get the counter attack at the moment. But if you was looking at this as an away game, which it is for France, really, it's a perfect away performance, isn't it? Like, you know, so they've digging in, but you know, these Germans, as we said, if they do lack something, the Germans, it's probably a natural finisher. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I looked. Oh, that's a good effort as well, cutting inside there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that. Do you not think though? Like, just touch on that point there, Lee. It's funny with Germany because they ain't really got. When's the last time they had a proper centre forward? Germany. Because you got Thomas Muller and you got, like we said, Kai Havertz. He's playing there at times. Serge Gnabry's actually supposed to be the number 9 tonight. I don't really think I can look back. I mean, Klose. Do you think that's the only Miroslav Klose's the only one?
Yeah, but he scored lots of goals. I didn't think he was great. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I mean.
Probowski played up there for a little while, didn't he? You know, like
yeah.
They've had some fantastic players. You don't remember. Gerd Muller was one of the greatest.
Well, yeah, obviously I don't remember, but he was class.
And of course, Jurgen Klinsmann come along.
Mbappe's in here. Sorry, mate. Mbappe's in. Mbappe's in. Oh, what a goal! Absolutely.
There you go.
Oh, is he offside? Oh, he's called it back for offside. No way. That's an unbelievable finish. You'd be gutted. Is he offside there, Lee? Obviously, Pogba's
he must have been up for, you know.
Yeah, no, he is. Both of them, Griezmann and Mbappe there. That is a shame because that is absolute top draw quality there. He's cutting on again on his left. He's brilliant on that left-hand side, isn't he? And that is an Henri type finish. Unbelievable. He'll be gutted. Germany won't be.
No, definitely offside. He could have just watched his line a bit better there, if I'll be honest. But that's what he could do. That would have been game over then. That would have actually been game over.
It would have been. It really would have been. We're going to bring someone else on now. We've got Big Steve waiting in the wings.
Go on, Big Steve.
Big Steve. How you doing, mate?
Hello, good. Steve, how are we?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you very much. Thanks for the old soundtrack and all that.
No worries, man. No worries. It was good. It was good fun. Dan asked me last week. Was it last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, we're launching it Tuesday," and I'm like, "Right, you know, I've got a busy few days, but I'll try and get something done." And then I was just playing around the other night, come up with that riff, and I was like, "Hopefully they like it because I like this and I want to build on it." And yeah, good going. But yeah, that Mbappe chance, I whacked a bet on a little while ago for him to get a shot on target both halves, and I just started celebrating, and then I heard Lee go, "No, I think he's offside," and I was like, "Oh."
Did he get one on it? So obviously got one on target in the first side. He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
him and Hummels.
I think he'll get another shot on target. Now a lot of people have gone for Lukaku as top scorer and all that.
I have. I've gone Belgium to win and Lukaku top scorer.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it'd be interesting who will be the top goal scorer, and but I think Mbappe could be. I'm
going Cristiano Ronaldo, mate.
See,
I'm going Ronaldo.
After today, I'm thinking Ronaldo might do something. I said last Euros, and people shot me down. I said I just have a feeling Portugal will win this, and I had a bet on it. It was only, I think, 12-1. I only had a fiver, but you know, as soon as the final came around and they fluked their way to winning it, I was chuffed, and you know, a big 2 fingers to everyone who was mocking me at the time, because when I was back at school, me mentioning rugby in the comments. When I was at school, I love rugby. I've always been an Arsenal fan since I was a kid, but I sort of tailed off. And so everyone, whenever I had an opinion on football, it was always, "Oh, shut up, Steve, stick to rugby. Oh, shut up." And it's like, all right, you know, and now he's on LeejudgesTV, hey. But
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, I must admit, I looked at the top scorer, and it's hard this year because Lukaku, Kane, Mbappe, Ronaldo. You know, there's other players to forget about as well.
Morata.
I think. Well, do you know what I said? That's the reason. I know Spain play great football, but that's their only striker, really.
Yeah, you were saying about I just missed it because I was logging in. You was talking about the same with Germany, right? They've never really had a top out and out striker apart from I would say the only one that springs to mind for me is Miroslav Klose. The thing is that most of the German forwards, I mean, you look now, obviously you've got Werner, But you've had Goetze in the past that's been playing, played
Yeah.
9 for Dortmund, but he's a false 9. He's sort of that in
Yeah,
the middle of a
that's
10 and a
right.
9. You've got, Thomas Muller's been exactly the same. I think Thomas Muller could be a good striker. Podolski played a lot of his club football on the left-hand side, but, international through the middle. They've never had a top number 9.
A couple of big guns on here now.
Yeah, bringing on Sane
they're bringing on Sane and Werner, aren't they?
Yeah,
that's a corner. Tony Cruz, he's a player and a half, isn't he? He has got some unbelievable technique on a football. I think Tony Cruz.
Havertz has been disappointing in this game.
Been very quiet. Very quiet.
Although, where's he? Is he playing on the? Is he playing on the right? Or is he playing through the middle?
I can't work out. He's been floating.
He's been very quiet. Gundogan, who, I didn't even know he was playing. What I mean? Just shows.
Yeah. So on my app, it's looking as if Havertz is on the right, Gnabry's through the middle, and Muller's on the left. But
that's what I looked at. Gnabry through the middle. I'm not sure about that.
No, I think it's Muller through the middle, Gnabry on the left. But then let's have a look here. I'm a little bit behind you guys.
I think they're switching, Steve. I think they're switching throughout. I think that's what it is, and I don't mind that. And I like when Arsenal do that. Because
that's what I was about to say.
They need to switch it more, don't they?
When you've got Pepe, Aubameyang, and Saka, or Pepe, Aubameyang, and whoever like Martinelli, we've not seen a lot of him, but when he plays, you've got that ability to switch because none of them are an out and out striker, so they're always in and behind Lacazette. I think it's when you've got players that can do that across the front, it's nice. It's nice, definitely.
Question for Big Steve from Peter. He's literally just been on the show. Who's your dark horse for the Euros?
After yesterday, and I know it's only Scotland, but I think Czech Republic.
Wow.
Ooh.
To be honest, after yesterday, they were Scotland are not the greatest of teams, but they're not the worst either. And I just look at their team and I look at our group because it's the top 2 that go through, right? Yeah.
This is a different format, isn't it?
Right.
I thought it was top 2. It's 3 that goes through. So
right. Okay.
Yeah. It's I think personally that if you're Hungary, you're a bit screwed. Otherwise, everyone else has got a chance. Of getting through to the group stage. So
I think. Yeah, I just think the Czech Republic have got a good.
Fair enough.
I think they've got a good balance because their midfield.
Be hard for England to beat the Czechs.
It depends how we play. I mean, we weren't exactly convincing the other day, were we? I just think from what and obviously they've got Souček in the middle. You've got
Soufal as well.
Vidra off the bench, Soufal at the back. I think they've got a pretty solid squad, quite well balanced. Before that, I think maybe you look at Turkey, perhaps. And I mean, do you count Italy as a dark horse? I would have done.
I'm going to agree with Nimit. I would go Italy as a dark horse.
But
you're right.
Are they a dark horse? Because
exactly.
historically, they're one of the big boys you always look at going into tournaments. The fact that they've underperformed in recent years, like England have, still shouldn't matter. But you look at Italy, Germany, Spain, France, Portugal, England. You look at them as the sides. Recent years, Belgium have started to come up, and you look at those as like they're the ones that should be there or thereabouts. So, are Italy a dark horse? I don't know because Italy have got some cracking players.
Yeah.
Well, they had lost under Mancini, apparently. Scully told me. They haven't lost a game yet since Mancini's been manager. I didn't realise that.
I didn't.
They're always going to have some decent sort of players, but, they didn't qualify for the last tournament, did they?
No, they just missed out.
So it's like a competition without Italy is unheard of. So, and they've always been a team that's always been there and thereabouts. So, I don't think you can really call like a dark. Definitely, Czech Republic is a big dark horse. That's Black Beauty territory you're going into there,
Well, look at this stat. Look at this that Peter's just said. 28 games unbeaten, Italy.
That's crazy. But then,
organised side.
I mean, you look at England. They went on a big unbeaten streak, didn't they, before the World Cup? But you look at the teams that they're playing. It's all these qualifiers and all these Nations League things. It's stat padding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And really, let's face it. England's qualifying groups over the last sort of 5-6 years. You know what I mean? Like Wales, Ireland, Scotland would have all qualified out of those groups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it is sort of based so that the big guns get through as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
So, like, it is a little bit tougher for the likes of Scotland, Wales, and all that to qualify, in my opinion. But so like Italy might have had like a few of those. But it's saying that you still got to win those games, didn't you? So or not get beaten, which they've done. So 28, 29 games unbeaten. That's incredible, really. Like, you know. So watching the game, it's all Germany at the moment, guys. All Germany.
Yeah, it really is all Germany. It really is, and you know, I thought when France scored, Germany picked it up, but since that Mbappe chance winning, they kind of realised it would have been game over if that winning, and they picked their game up again. You know what I mean? So I think
they had all the possession in the first half. Sorry to cut you off. They had all the possession in the first half. So I mean, apart from the own goal, I don't think France looked too threatening in the first half at all.
Yeah. Mbappe's the key, isn't he? Mbappe is the key, in my opinion. Absolute class.
It's getting him cutting on in the inside. I think the thing is Benzema has been so deep that Mbappe's not be able to make that overlapping run, and that's I think that's key, is getting Benzema to just push up a little bit more, get the ball, and then just dink it off. I think if they bring on Giroud soon, I think France have got another chance. That I think
can beat, don't they? Like, you know?
Yeah, it will be game changer.
No, you are right. 100%. Here's a question then. So, if England win their group, right, which obviously we all hope we do, because, well, that's the question. Do we hope we do? Because if we win the group, we've got the someone from this group, ain't we? If we come second, from what I'm being told, if we come second, we don't. We get someone from Group D or E, which is like Spain, Sweden, Slovakia, or something like that. So the question is, if we do win the group, do we want France, Germany, or Portugal, or do we want Slovakia, Sweden, or Spain?
Slovakia, Sweden, Spain.
Yeah, it's got to be it. So do we want to come second in the group? That's what I'm saying.
You do really, but you know, you can't do that, can you? Like, you know, you can't start picking and choosing who you're going to win and lose to, like, you know. So
yeah. I mean, obviously, you want to go
somewhere along the line, and at the end of it, look at the pace of him there. Look at
that's a tackle, isn't it? That was a tackle. That was a tackle and a half, and Mbappe was through. Unbelievable tackle. That unbelievable.
I'm still
got a fan favourite in the house. Sophie Rose is in the house. Hello, Sophie. How you doing, darling? Hello, my darling Lee. Darling Lee.
My darling Lee.
She'll say my darling Dan in a minute. She'll say my darling Dan in a minute. I'll get one in a minute. I'll wait for it. I hope you will, man. Sophie.
I've just seen that tackle. Fantastic from Hummels.
Wasn't it just?
Absolutely brilliant. But how Mbappe didn't just pull away enough. That's mental.
Who was it who got the tackle in?
Hummels.
It was Hummels, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's a snail.
Yeah,
old school, man. Old school.
Yeah. It's like, now, you know, I see him when I sometimes watch the Bundesliga, and he plays just like what Mertesacker used to play, like no legs on him whatsoever. I mean, he's better on the ball, he's better in the air, Hummels, than Mertesacker was. But the positional play of some of these same with Ginter. I mean, like Ginter at Gladbach, he's a brilliant player. I didn't even realize he was in the Germany squad, but like positionally, very, very good, very good.
Yeah, no, he is positionally very, very good.
That kick from Lloris, look. I'm really not like that.
Weak link, mate. You did call it. Weak link. That's a pass. Look at that ball from Pogba to Mbappe. That's a ball.
Yeah, I don't think much of Lloris for obvious reasons.
I'll tell you what, Pogba's played really well today.
He has. Him and Kante in the middle have absolutely bossed it.
He always does for France, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think the pace of the game maybe suits him a little bit more, but he just you know, look at that lovely bit of skill.
I'm just seeing it now. Yeah, on the outside, absolutely sublime.
And then he loses it.
But you know what? Another player that I really, really liked and really rated when he was at Man City, Leroy Sané. He's just come on for Germany, and I must admit, I look at the Man City side a couple of years ago now. They had Jadon Sancho and Leroy Sané. I'd rather have them than Mahrez and Sterling. I'm a massive fan of Mahrez, but Mahrez and Sterling for me, I don't think that's an upgrade on Sané and Sancho. Do you, Steve?
Thing is, Sancho when he was at City, when did he leave? He left at 17, right? It was.
I can't remember.
Just
was it 3 seasons ago? 2 seasons ago? Can't remember now.
It was a while ago. He's been at Dortmund, I think, at least 3 years. Let me Google
this lockdown's made all the timings go funny.
It really has. So Sancho is 21 now. He was 21 this year, and he joined.
He was 18 when
he joined Dortmund in 2017. So yes, he would have been 17. So yeah, he never really played. I don't think he played for City at all. I don't think he made a first team appearance at all.
But you look at the situation now, I'd rather have Sané and Sancho.
100%. But then, you look at these, like you mentioned Gnabry earlier on, a lot of Arsenal players Arsenal fans, slate the fact we got rid of Gnabry, but we didn't. We saw glimpses of how good Gnabry was, but Gnabry being German, Gnabry wanting to play for Germany. If Bayern Munich came in and they were the ones pulling all the strings, yes, he went to.
That is a great point.
I can't remember where he went to. I think he went to Hoffenheim first, then he went to Werder Bremen, and it was Bayern pulling the strings. There's a few articles on there, and I've got a mate of mine he's Austrian, but he's a massive Bayern fan, and he was telling me it was like Bayern are going to get Gnabry, like they're sending him out on loan, they're paying the loan fee, and then they're going to buy him from. They're going to buy Gnabry from Werder Bremen because Werder Bremen had him on loan and then they bought him. But the reason that Werder Bremen bought them is because there was a clause in his contracts apparently that if Arsenal sold him to a Champions League club, it'd be more money. So they sold him to Werder Bremen. Bayern then came in, bought him from Werder Bremen, but Bremen were Bayern were the ones pulling the strings. And if your head's turned from Bayern Munich as a young German player, you're going to go. You're not. He had a blinding game away at Swansea. He had a couple of other good games for Arsenal. And as soon as Theo Walcott was fit again, out the side. And then the season after, before he broke his leg and went out on loan, Aaron Ramsey's playing at right mid over Serge Gnabry. Of course you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to leave. But then, going back on the Sancho thing, Man City got rid of him. Whether they should have kept him or not, obviously now we know that he's a quality player. Arsenal got rid of Donyell Malen, who is, fair enough, it's the Dutch league, but everyone, every season he's linked with a big club. There's players that sometimes slip through the net, and unfortunately, unfortunately for City, Sancho was one of them.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know what I mean? I don't think you should dwell on the fact that once because they've not made it. I've always said this as well. Look, David Bentley was a fantastic footballer. Let's get this right. But when he was coming through Arsenal, he had Robert Pires, Freddie Ljungberg in front of him. He wasn't going to get through them. Doesn't mean to say that he's not a good player. Eventually, he had to go and look for first-team football. Also in his way was Dennis Bergkamp. So it was never going to happen at Arsenal. One of Kevin Campbell's mates played at Arsenal in the youth team. Lee Francis was a good right back. But he had Lee Dixon in front of him. So eventually you're going to have to leave, and that's how it is. Alan Miller, unfortunately, we know, died a week or so ago. He was a very, very good goalkeeper. But David Seaman in front of him.
Behind, exactly.
So you're going to lose youth team players along the way, And you can say about whatever you want about Walcott. If I honestly think that Walcott wasn't as bad as a player as what people make.
You don't score 100 goals for any club if you're an awful player.
Yeah, exactly. You don't, and that is true. And he had a lot of injuries. A lot of people don't realise that,
As well. Look at how much time he missed, and he still managed to get those goals in. Like I see an argument a few weeks back. It was talking about Theo Walcott because obviously he's now left.
Steve, Mbappe's through here, and this is a class ball from Mbappe, and it's 2-0. Benzema,
And
absolutely
is he
superb
offside?
from Paul
I think
Pogba.
he's offside again, yeah.
Is he? Well, I thought he wasn't because Paul Pogba has been man of the match. That was an outstanding pass again.
I'm just about to see it.
Honestly, he's had
He's
such a good game.
Pogba's just intercepted for me. Through to Benzema, out to Griezmann.
You watch
Pogba
this
again.
Pogba, right? He's got in the middle there.
Oh, no, I think he's offside. No,
Offside.
We'll have a look at him. We'll have a look at him.
and Mbappe looked offside.
Do you reckon he is?
I think he is.
I think so.
It's tight. It's tight. Unbelievable play again. Mbappe, Pogba and Mbappe. Wow. Yeah, that's frightening. But
yeah,
he's having a look. It's gone to VAR. This is going to be offside.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, we see someone talking on about Walcott because obviously he's left Everton on a free and he's signed for Southampton now, hasn't he? So, or will be. And someone was saying, he scored 100 goals, and someone was like, yeah, but it took him 9 seasons. And it's like, yeah, but really, it took him 4.5 because he was out for so long. Walcott was
offside.
a decent player.
Go was offside. Yeah.
Walcott was a decent player, but old Nabry, perhaps he should have got more game time and he didn't. And Sancho should have been given a chance. But a Man City with their umpteen titles now, gonna sit there and go, oh well, we should have kept Sancho for a few years and played this young player when they had Mahrez and Sterling ready to go, and who have
exactly right, Stephen. That is why you can't worry about players going and all that. I'm sure that all teams have had them. What I mean. So
we've got one at the moment. His name's Florian Balogun.
Yeah.
If he stays or go, and that Dan fully knows. I won't say it because I don't want your channel being demonetized before it's even begun. But I have an interest in the youth. Balogun's a cracking.
You want to know
player,
anything
right?
about youth football? Then come to Big Steve. He watches youth football. I
haven't watched as much. I haven't watched as much the last.
I think Balogun's going to be a player. I really do.
I think he is. But what we've seen this season, people saying, "Oh, Balogun needs to play. Balogun needs to start in the league. Balogun needs to do this. He scored this many goals for under 23s. So did Eddie. So did Eddie Nketiah. And I'm not saying, I think Balogun looks more of a player than Eddie did. But if you're going on goals alone, they're two very different players. What I like about Balogun is the fact that he's got that pace to beat his man on the outside. He's got the strength to beat his man on the inside. Eddie didn't. Eddie was very, very good positionally. But people saying, get Lacazette and Aubameyang out the team and start Balogun on the basis of the fact that he's been playing for the youth level. And there's no guarantee that that's going to transfer into 100%. The first team. Balogun has played in 2 or 3 games in the Europa League, and everyone's saying, but he scored in the Europa League. And it's like, yeah, but so did Eddie Nketiah this season. Eddie at one point was our top scorer before Christmas, and so you can't knock the Europa League when talking about Eddie Nketiah's goals, but then big it up when Balogun scored a couple, because it's still the same level of opposition. But on that, Balogun has to feature next season because we've given him his contract. He has got this hype about him, so let's see what he's got. But if he was to have gone this season and we hadn't signed his contract, you just got to say, well, sometimes they get away, and that's it.
I just think Balogun. I just over Eddie. I just think like the physical presence.
He's got more.
It's got that little bit more attributes to be a Premier League player, Steve. What I mean?
Definitely.
I'm not so sure about. I think that Eddie can score goals. I've got no doubt about that, and will score goals wherever he goes. But I think that the way Arsenal play, we need that bit more presence.
That is exactly it. That's it. How we set up and how we play. But I was saying on Guns and Yellow Ribbons a few months back when we was talking about it, like if Eddie hasn't really played since the team changed at the start of the year. So if you were to put Eddie Nketiah as the 9 in front of Aubameyang, Saka and Smith Rowe, would we see a different player to the Eddie that was massively disappointing in front of Willian, an awful Aubameyang, and who was playing at the start of the season? I can't even remember. Saka,
Pepe,
yeah,
Willian,
Pepe
Aubameyang.
before he started hitting some form. But yes,
I
I
like
mean,
Pepe.
I like Pepe. I like Pepe, and the one thing that annoys me, I know you've mentioned it before, is the people that slate him just because of his price tag.
Yeah.
That wasn't his fault. Don Raul has, as everyone was, blowing smoke up his jacksie, was a massive part of why he cost so much, as we know now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pep, and as you've said, stat wise, look at the goals, look at the assists, look at the chances created. Yeah, and he, we're talking about Walcott a moment ago. Reminds me sometimes of how Walcott was. Walcott would spend 70 minutes of the game doing naff all, but would have 2 or 3 moments of brilliance, and he'd help you win a game. Same with Aubameyang up until this season. Spend so long out of the game, but then will pop up. And the problem that we've had at times this season is when we've had Aubameyang, who hasn't been Aubameyang that we know, and Pepe in the same side, you've got 2 players on either flank where you need to have your wingers tracking back. You need to have that them coming inside. You can't carry 2 players. You can't carry 2 players like that. It's either one or the other. And so what I like about Pepe in the back end of the season, his defensive work rate has been phenomenal. He is always coming back and always up and down. He's been phenomenal the latter half of this season. Really good.
I think Pepe deserves to be mentioned for our player of the season. I know that he did get second place. I think he did get Saka. Obviously, got it deservedly so.
Yeah.
But when you look at what Pepe did the last, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks of the season,
yeah,
Saka disappeared. Luckily, Pepe came to the mark because Saka was gone, wasn't he? Because he's burnt out. So
that was it. I was going to say he's burnt out 100%.
Yeah.
Pepe, I'm excited for next season already, just because of some of the form that we of Pepe. Smith Rowe just seems to be growing in stature. I think he just looks so comfortable in the middle of the park. We ain't going to see much of we're not going to see any of Ceballos. We're our midfield. Hopefully, we don't see Xhaka. Whether he was had a better season last year or not, I'm excited to try and hopefully we see some change. We see players like Pepe coming in, and I know I'm the same every summer. I just think this season it'll be a little bit better, but yeah, I'm a little bit excited already. I'm looking forward to the pre-season games.
Well, yeah, I mean, we certainly need to sort our midfield out because that's a huge area of concern for me. There needs a lot of surgery in that. But, I've got a question here, actually. It is turning it back to the Euros. Rory Heath. Hi, lads. Is it just me or could England beat both of these teams, Lee?
Well, listen, I think France will pose a lot of problems going forward. Do you know what? Let's not go too overboard about the last game. Croatia I thought were okay defensively in midfield, but didn't have a lot going forward. This French team have a lot going forward, so you'd have to be on your guard, particularly at the back against these. And I think Germany, if I'll be honest, have been wary of that today and have tried to be a little bit cautious about it. I think at the end of the day, Germany will look at this today, even though they've lost this 1-0, they'll say, do you know what, that ain't too bad. We can, if we can get a result against Hungary, get a draw against Portugal, that will see them through. That'll be enough, you know what I mean? So I don't think they're going to be too worried about it. But if you was to lose, say, 2 or 3-0 against France, it could put you in a bit of a problem. But listen, I think England are capable of beating anybody, and I think that these 2 teams will feel that they've got a chance of beating England as well if they were to play England.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Listen, Germany will look at that tonight and say it could have been 3 or 4 because they've already. I mean, Mbappe scored 2 goals that were offside, and they had that other chance early doors. But they've always got a chance to be dangerous. I would, if I had to play one of them and say that we'd have a chance of winning, it would be Germany.
Yeah.
But I don't look at France and think they can't be got out. I'm with you, Lee. I think defensively, they certainly aren't as amazing as the other areas of their squad. I think so. I think so. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't fancy us against France. I think the pace and the midfield of France would ruin us. I think today, I think it's a good enough question because I think looking at this, you think both teams haven't really offered much. But I've looked at it and I think you've got two good teams that have pretty much cancelled each other out. I think yes, Germany have lost 1-0, but defensively they've been very good. That last ditch challenge from Hummels, any other team, Mbappe's through and he's gone. He's scoring.
Yeah.
He's slicing that through. And yeah, 2 goals that were offside where they've almost been caught, but I'll say this, if obviously I'm a little bit behind, but if this finishes 1-1, it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I'd say they're 2 good teams that have cancelled each other out. Out of the 2, if England were gonna get something, I would say Germany. I wouldn't fancy us against France. I think
fear Germany. If we had to play Germany in the next round, you're not going to fear them, are you?
No.
I think they'd be a little bit more nervous about us than we would be about them.
Yeah, because the squad that England have got, you just don't know what are you going to have the aerial threat and a big midfield, or are you going to have Sterling and Rashford, and are you going to have these pacey players either side? Where it all varies, but yeah, I'd fancy us to beat Germany. I'm not so sure about France because I think even if we scored a couple against France, they'd score a couple more than us, I think.
Yeah, listen, I mean, the final whistle's about to go, and I think it's like a matter of time. France are going to win this 1-0. One question I did want to ask throughout, though, is obviously the German boss. Like, do you think he'd have a chance of doing something at club level with in the Premier League, or do you think that it's so different national level? Lee, I'll come to you.
Not for me.
You?
No, not for me. It wouldn't be on my hit list, as they say.
Why is that?
I just think that I think that he's been in international football maybe too long, and I don't think he's quite got the best out of Germany. Not, I can't say it because he's obviously won the World Cup. You know what I mean? So it's a difficult one. I just feel that Germany over the years, even though they've done well, just flattered to deceive a little bit.
I mean, I thought when he came on the scene at the right time with a Germany side that was so strong, and I mean, I wasn't a massive lover of Mesut Ozil, but the quality was there to see. Sami Khedira was always great. Thomas Muller was coming through at the right time. They still had Philipp Lahm. They had Hummels and Boateng as a pair that were decent. I just thought that it was a real good time for Germany to come on the scene. So he then, no doubt did well with them and won stuff with them. But I tend to agree with Lee because I think it's a huge risk. I think nationally, I look at Sven-Göran Eriksson as a national coach and think it was so different at club level, I actually liked Sven at England. And I know that he had the golden generation, so obviously I would have loved to have managed that England side. But when you look at it, club level is so different, isn't it? So maybe it is a too big a job for Joachim Löw. There we go, final whistle, 1-0 to France. To be honest, that's a massive victory for them, isn't it? Let's be honest.
What a classic.
Yeah, that is a massive victory for them, though, isn't it? So we'll see what happens. Steve, before we let you go, mate, firstly, thanks for coming on, bro. And thank you so much for sorting out the audio for us, mate.
Cheers, Steve. Much appreciated.
Honestly, so good, man. How can people follow you, bro?
So yeah, on Twitter at Big Steve with 2 E's. Facebook, Big Steve Artist. Instagram, Big Steve Artist. I've got a podcast, Big Steve's Big Ramble, which is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else it goes. I mean, that reminds me, I've got to do another one. I've got to do episode 3 soon, so I might do that, talking about sport and a bit more about my music, and because the first one I did was about my weight loss and surgery. So yeah, I'm over 4 stone down in 8 weeks, which ain't too shabby. not so big Steve. And yeah, second one was talking about a band I'm in, Argyle, with Jake Argyle, the man of the band. So yeah, Big Steve's Big Ramble. I think I've had someone follow me. Yep, DJ Solenki, if you're in the chat, thank you.
It's Peter on pole. Here he is.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so yeah, Twitter at Big Steve with 2 E's, and then Big Steve Artist everywhere else. Yeah,
top man, mate. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Nice one.
And we'll get you back on here, I'm sure, at some stage, and we'll have a chat. And yeah, it'd be nice to catch up for a beer, mate, soon when we can.
Yeah, soon enough. Yeah, I'm
Meet
gonna.
up.
I've got a couple of gigs next weekend. After that money's coming, I'm gonna renew my Red membership. I think because Arsenal, haven't emailed me about anything else. But as soon as membership comes up, bang, you're on their mailing list, didn't you? So, so yeah, I'm gonna be back on the Red membership because I'm gonna be able to get up and walk around the Emirates again. So yeah, as soon as we can, I'll be up and I'll meet you lads. And I don't know whether I'll be able to manage the beer, but I don't even think I can manage half a pint. I know Lee's into his half pints, but yeah, maybe a J2O and a couple of beers for you lads. But yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. Top man, Steve. We'll catch up
Nice
soon, bro.
one.
Thanks once again, and you take care,
Cheers,
man. All right?
Laters, Lee. Laters, Dan.
Ah, it's nice to have Big Steve on.
Yeah,
Lovely bloke.
lovely guy.
Oh, he's a lovely guy, mate. It's been nice. It's been good fun.
Yeah, it's been a good start, good foundation. That we've set. We're off and running now, so we're off and running.
Can only go one way from here, mate.
That's right.
That's the way to look at it. But thanks to everyone in the chat for listening. It was great fun. Cheers for the interaction. We tried to get a little bit of questions up and a little bit of questions flowing and a little bit of chat. You don't want to be silent just watching the game, do you? You've got to be interactive and get people chatting. So much appreciated with that. Please like if you haven't done so already. Please subscribe to the video, the usual chat, and help this channel grow. Hopefully we get some of you back to have a regular chat and we start building relationships within the chat as well. That's what it's all about. And put on some good content for you guys. We will be back tomorrow night. We will be advertising it all over the socials. So please be there. We're going to be talking a little bit question time. So we're going to be using some of your questions just for a sort of 45 minutes to an hour with me and Lee, just to have a chat. Ask us anything you want. Don't have to be sport related. Don't have to be Arsenal related. Just to get to know us a bit before we start to grow the channel further, and we can start to get a bit of a rapport and relationship with the chat, and hopefully get some subscribers and start to get this growing. Lee, it's been a pleasure, mate. I hope you've enjoyed it, buddy.
Oh, I've loved it. Brilliant night. Really enjoyed it, and that's better. It's a great way to watch football, interacting, talking to people, and watching the game as well. So I really enjoyed it, and thanks for everybody that's been in the chat, and thanks for everybody who's subscribed and liked the channel. So much appreciated.
That's brilliant. Lee, top man, thank you to everyone in the chat. Until next time, we will see you. Well, we will see you next time, so we will see you tomorrow. Until then, you take care, guys.